Chapter 66. Su Jiran brought Baya to the place where Su Jiran's mother lived. Remember to greet her. Su Jiran reminded her. He unbuckled his seatbelt and got out of the car. He took out the lilies and a fruit basket from the trunk. He handed the lilies to Baya. My mom likes this kind of flower. She likes to eat bland food and likes a well-behaved daughter-in-law. Baya did not take it. She turned her face away. I'm really sorry. I was born to be well-behaved. A sharp light flashed across Su Jiran's eyes. He warned her arrogantly, Baya, don't forget that I can send you and your good friend to hell at any time. Baya's lips twitched. She took the flowers from Su Jiran's hand. Other than threatening and despicable, what else do you have? Su Jiran saw the disdain in her eyes. He held her chin. You just have to remember that those who obey me will prosper, and those who oppose me will perish. Baya looked down and sneered. Su Jiran pulled Baya into the house. Young master is back. The housekeeper quickly took a pair of slippers from the shoe rack and placed them in front of Su Jiran. She then took a pair of disposable slippers from the bottom of the shoe rack and placed them in front of Baya. Mom. Su Jiran called out. He passed the flowers and the fruit basket to the housekeeper. He gripped Baya's arm tightly as if he was going to break it. With a warning tone, he lowered his voice and said, Greet her. Baya looked at the dignified woman on the sofa. Enchanting was flipping through a book elegantly. Because she had taken good care of herself, she looked like she was in her 40s. She had a good temperament and self-restraint. Mom. Baya called out. Enchanting glanced at Baya and placed the book on the coffee table. Didn't I tell you not to bring her to see me? Su Jiran walked over and sat beside Enchanting. He put his arm around Enchanting's thin shoulders and said, An ugly daughter-in-law has to meet her parents-in-law eventually. I'm afraid that if I have too many daughters-in-law, I might not be able to recognize faces. Enchanting said coldly. She looked at Baya's wrist and frowned. Is that bracelet the one I like? I let her try it on. She bought it just to show her respect to you. Su Jiran said and looked at Baya. Xiaoya, give the bracelet to Mom. She can feel your sincerity. That's enough. That bracelet is worth more than 5 million. How could a doctor have so much money? Do you think I don't know who bought it? Use soap in the bathroom. Don't ruin my jade bracelet, Enchanting said arrogantly. Baya found it funny and laughed. She didn't even try to hide the disdain in her eyes. She walked into the bathroom. Enchanting gave the housekeeper a look and the housekeeper followed her in immediately. Young madam, this is for you. The housekeeper passed the hand sanitizer to Baya. Baya squeezed out the sanitizer and applied it on her hands. The housekeeper picked up a towel and wiped the bottle of sanitizer. Baya frowned and looked at her. What do you mean? I'm sorry. Madam is a neat freak, the housekeeper explained awkwardly. How could someone who loves cleanliness give birth to Su Jiran? How ironic. Baya took off the bracelet and placed it on the sink. The housekeeper cleaned it immediately. Baya walked out of the bathroom. Is that kind of woman good enough for you? I wouldn't even want Xing Jinyan to see me, let alone Xing Bachuan's daughter, Enchanting scolded. Yes. Mom is right. I've already married her. She can't become a wife just because of her husband. Su Jiran coaxed Enchanting with a smile. What kind of taste do you have? She's an obstetrician. She's always breaking her abdomen. Who knows how much blood her hands are stained with? It's disgusting to think about it. I've spoiled you too much, Enchanting said in disgust. She looked at Baya and said, When are you leaving? I'm afraid it'll get dirty here. What if you're hungry? You can disinfect it if it gets dirty, Su Jiran said to Enchanting. Madam. The housekeeper came out with the jade bracelet. Put it in the UV box and bring it to me tomorrow, Enchanting ordered. Baya smiled. Su Jiran and his mother were birds of a feather. They were both weirdos. Did he think she was dirty? Baya walked toward Su Jiran with a cold glint in her eyes and held Su Jiran's hand. Her hands were dirty. If she could, why didn't she disinfect Su Jiran too? Xiong Dani took a wet towel from the coffee table and handed it to Su Jiran. She said to Baya, since you've married into our family, you have to follow our rules. Su Jiran took the wet towel from Xiong Dani and wiped his hands cooperatively. What rules? Baya asked, her fingers tracing the shape of Su Jiran's face. Su Jiran realized Baya's intention and held Baya's hand. Stop it. Xiong Dani was even more disgusted with Baya. She ordered, first, quit your current job. As the daughter-in-law of the Su family, you don't have to show your face in public. You won't be able to earn back a jade bracelet in your lifetime. Second, you can't be jealous. It's inevitable for your husband to socialize outside. You have to be patient. It's normal for you to play along. Third, you'll inevitably go out to socialize. If you lose your etiquette, you'll lose the face of the Su family. From now on, I'll hire a teacher to teach you. Fourth, I'm afraid of getting dirty. You have to be clean. I'll arrange the rest for you. You have to memorize it. Don't make any mistakes. Do you understand? I'm sorry, I can't do that. A mother-in-law like you can marry anyone who wants it. Baya stood up. What do you mean? Xiong Dani widened her eyes and looked at Baya in disbelief. I mean exactly what I said. Baya walked towards the door. Stop right there, Jiran. What kind of person did you find? Xiong Dani said angrily. Su Jiran didn't expect Baya to be so angry. He grabbed Baya's arm and ordered, apologize to Mom. I didn't do anything wrong. Why should I apologize? Baya's face was cold. She wanted to pull her hand out. Su Jiran held it so tightly that she couldn't pull her hand out. I brought you here so that my mother will acknowledge you, not so that you can anger my mother. When I say apologize, I'll count to 3 and you can disobey me as much as you want. Su Jiran said sternly. His eyes were as sharp as a knife. Baya's chest heaved violently. She glared at Su Jiran and pursed her lips. The atmosphere was terrifyingly tense. If there was nothing left in this world, only despair and a hellish life, she might as well just die. If she died, it would be useless even if Su Jiran had something on Lu Shuang. He didn't have to go against Lu Shuang and offend Her Highness. Auntie, my dad asked me to invite you to my house for dinner. Su Shaoling walked in. She froze when she saw Baya. She asked defensively, why are you here? Baya also looked at Su Shaoling in surprise. Chapter 67. 3 years ago, she forced Su Jiran to marry her. The church was bustling with noise and excitement, but none of the people who came were their relatives. Su Jiran had spent 50 yuan to invite each of them to sit down. She had never met Su Jiran's relatives. She knew nothing about Su Jiran. It turned out that Su Jiran and Su Shaoling were cousins. He and Su Changhao were also cousins. Su Changhao was Gu Lingxing's good friend. Their families all lived in the same villa area. What kind of fate was this? She was just a commoner. She shouldn't be mingling with the children of high-ranking officials. With Su Shaoling as a buffer, Su Jiran hugged Baya's shoulder tightly and smiled wickedly. Aren't you going to call me sister-in-law? Sister-in-law? Su Shaoling was even more shocked. Cousin, when did you get married? She. Su Shaoling pointed at Baya. She wanted to say something but stopped. If Baya was Su Jiran's wife, then Baya and Gu Lingqing were nothing. As expected, Gu Lingqing was acting with other women in front of her. Thinking of this, Su Shaoling was in a good mood. She's a good match for you. My boyfriend is coming to my house for dinner today. His family is coming too. You, sister-in-law, and aunt should come too. We'll be relatives in the future. Boyfriend? Gu Lingqing. Su Jiran asked with a smile. Cousin, you know that I only like him. Now that the clouds have parted and the moon has come to light, he has accepted me. Su Shaoling deliberately said in front of Baiya. Baiya lowered her eyes. Her long eyelashes covered the emotions in her eyes. She thought that she wouldn't be sad. After all, she was the one who pushed Gu Lingqing away. But when she heard that he had accepted Su Shaoling and was going to Su Shaoling's house for dinner and to meet his parents, her heart still hurt. That kind of pain was unexpected. He wanted to pretend that he didn't care about it, but he couldn't deceive his own heart. Okay, let's go together. It's time for everyone to meet. It seems like many things have deviated from their tracks. It's time to return, right, my wife? Su Jiran said as he stared at Baiya meaningfully. Baiya looked away. I don't want to go. Su Jiran's eyes flashed with malice. It's not up to you. There are some people you can't covet, I warned you. What does that mean? Who else does she covet? Was she unfaithful to her marriage? I will never let such a woman become my daughter-in-law. Xiong Dani said keenly. Of course not. She wouldn't dare. Su Jiran smiled confidently and looked at Baiya. Right, Xiaoya? Baiya clenched her fists and looked at Su Jiran. He was like a real venomous beast, pressuring her until she couldn't breathe. She went to meet Gu Lingqing's parents. Even if she and Su Jiran divorced, it would never be possible for her and Gu Lingqing to be together again. Gu Lingqing's parents wouldn't agree. But she had no choice but to bite the bullet and go. Jiran, are you sure you want to bring her? I can't afford to lose face. Xiong Dani reminded him unhappily. She has to meet them eventually. Let's go. Su Jiran hugged Baiya's waist. Baiya pulled his hand away and said sarcastically, aren't you a neat freak? Be careful not to dirty your hands. It's already dirty anyway. It doesn't matter, Su Jiran replied. He hugged her even tighter and pulled her into his arms. Baiya's face was pale. When she pushed Gu Lingqing away, she said how loving she was with her husband. Su Jiran was willing to cooperate, so she couldn't turn her back on him. Su Shaoling observed Su Jiran and Baiya. Since Baiya was a married woman, she didn't feel so repulsed anymore. Su Jiran had never failed in wooing a woman. He was the kind of man who was bad and liked by women. It's just 100 meters ahead. It's not too far. Baiya, let's go shopping when we have the chance, Su Shaoling said to Baiya. Her eyes were meaningful and proud. Baiya didn't respond. Didn't you hear Ling talking to you? What kind of parenting is that? Xiong Dani lectured unhappily. Baiya clenched her teeth. Su Jiran pinched her waist. Baiya glared at Su Jiran. Mom is talking to you. Respond if you hear me, Su Jiran threatened with a smile. Baiya still didn't say anything. Anger and frustration gathered in her heart. It expanded and was about to explode. The four of them entered Su Shaoling's house. Su Changhao was surprised to see Baiya. Brother, let me introduce you. She's my cousin's wife. They're married, Su Shaoling said happily. You're married? Just now? Su Changhao asked Baiya in surprise. We've been married for 3 years. It was a secret marriage before, but I don't think there's a need to anymore. I brought her to see my mom and came over to freeload, Su Jiran said with a smile. Su Changhao looked at Su Jiran and then at Baiya. He had a bad feeling. Take a seat. I still have some work to do, Su Changhao said. He walked into his room and called Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing picked up the call. I'm already at the villa. I'll be there soon. I'm not rushing you. There's a huge accident. Baiya is here too. She's actually Jiran's wife. Do you know about this? Su Changhao said in shock. I know. Gu Lingqing's voice was deep. So you and she were pretending? Su Changhao was confused. Gu Lingqing was silent for a while. Then, he asked, how did she and Su Jiran look? It was very strange. Su Jiran seemed to be swearing his leadership. But Bai Ye's expression was very bad. She was cold and seemed to reject Jiran's intimacy. What's going on with you guys? You promised to come to my house for dinner. Could it be related to Bai Ye? The more Su Changhao thought about it, the more he felt that something was wrong. Don't worry about it. That's it. I'm hanging up. Gu Lingqing hung up the phone coolly. There was a deep and sharp light in his eyes. In the living room. Speaking of my son-in-law, he's really a dragon among men. He's already a major general at such a young age. Now, he's even the chief of the special forces. He's directly under the management of the military committee. His father is now the deputy commander. His mother manages a company. I heard that his family's company is on the list of the world's richest people. This child was also very handsome and had a striking appearance. Luckily, Ling and he are childhood friends. Otherwise, my Ling wouldn't even have a chance. Su Xiaoling's mother held Xiong Dani's hand and said, "Then I'm lucky this time." "I can see this handsome chief," Xiong Dani said with a smile. "Oh, right. What's wrong with your daughter-in-law? What does she do? When did she get married? You didn't even tell us." Su Xiaoling's mother hit Xiong Dani and said, "She's a doctor. Jiran got married 3 years ago. I didn't even know. Otherwise, why would I have agreed to it? This girl's hands are dirty. Jiran bought me a 5 million yuan jade bracelet and she secretly wore it. Don't you think it's disgusting?" Xiong Dani looked at Bai Ye with disdain. Her voice wasn't low. Probably everyone could hear her. Gu Lingqing, who just came in, heard it too. Chapter 68. Bai Ye felt embarrassed, especially when Gu Lingqing heard it. But thinking about it, so what if he heard it? She didn't have a good impression of him at all. When Gu Lingqing and the others came in, everyone in the Su family stood up and went to welcome them. Su Jiran sat on the sofa arrogantly and looked at Gu Lingqing coldly. He curled up the corner of his mouth and looked lazy. "I've invited you several times and I finally got my wish today. Come and sit down." Su Xiaoling's father, Su Zheng, held Gu Tianheng's hand and said warmly, "I've been busy before. Now that I have some free time today, I came here immediately," Gu Tianheng said with a smile. "What an honor." Su Zheng led the way. The group of people began to sit down. The women nodded at each other as a greeting. A big round table. From the main seat to the right, they were Su Zheng, Gu Tianheng, Gu Lingqing's mother, Gu Lingqing, Su Xiaoling, Su Jiran's mother, Bai Ye, Su Jiran, Su Changhao, Su Xiaoling's mother. There were 10 people in total. After sitting down, Gu Tianheng saw Bai Ye. He had seen Bai Ye in Gu Lingqing's military area before. He was surprised and said, "You are." Su Jiran put his hand on Bai Ye's shoulder and introduced her with a smile, "My wife." "Oh." Gu Tianheng smiled and said meaningfully, "Very good, very good." Gu Lingqing's cold eyes glanced at Bai Ye's face. Bai Ye lowered her eyes and didn't look at anyone. She didn't want anyone to see the expression in her eyes. "Uncle, what about the recruitment of doctors in the special military area?" "I've been waiting for a long time," Su Xiaoling said in a sweet voice and held Gu Lingqing's arm. Bai Ye's eyes flickered and looked at Su Xiaoling holding Gu Lingqing's arm. Gu Lingqing did not refuse. Bai Ye swallowed his bitterness. Su Xiaoling's family hired a professional chef, and the chef's assistant poured brandy for everyone. "About this matter, it's not up to me. It's up to Lingqing. He's the leader of the special forces. Even I can't order him," Gu Tianheng joked. "Lingqing, shouldn't you hurry up and settle this matter? You'll be able to spend time with Xiao Ling in the future. That lass has been nagging me about this matter every day." Gu Lingqing's mother said with a smile. Baiya subconsciously glanced at Gu Lingqing's mother. Gu Lingqing's mother was very beautiful, noble, and elegant. Her hair was coiled up on her head, and she had the capability and decisiveness of a strong woman. Her eyes revealed the acuteness and wisdom that could see through the world. In terms of appearance, Gu Lingqing mostly resembled her mother. Gu Lingqing replied with a deep voice and took a sip of brandy. There was not much of a reaction on her face. Before you guys came, my sister-in-law told me that Ling-er's boyfriend was so outstanding that he could only exist in the heavens. Now that I look at him, he is indeed extraordinary. Here's to you. Xiong Dani raised her glass to Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing also raised her glass, and she looked at Baiya from the corner of her eyes. Baiya still had her head down, and Su Jiran picked a piece of beef fillet for her. Look at how you're praising him. Is he your son? Gu Lingqing's mother looked at Su Jiran. Jiran, he's the deputy director of the health bureau now. He's a little naughty, Xiong Dani said proudly. The younger generation will surpass us in time. He's so accomplished at such a young age, Gu Lingqing's mother praised. He's still working hard, auntie. Here's to you. Su Jiran smiled devilishly. He raised his glass and took a big gulp. This child is so charming. You're so lucky. I can tell that you have a deep relationship with your son. Gu Lingqing's mother also took a sip and frowned. Old Su, the alcohol content is quite high. Aren't you afraid that I'll get drunk and go crazy in your house? Why should I be afraid if you go crazy? Your old Gu is still around. He's still young, and he can still deal with you, Su Jing joked. It's not that I can't deal with him, but I don't dare to. If Chief Song goes crazy, I'll be in trouble. Gu Tianhang smiled gently and looked at Gu Lingqing's mother, Song Shiyu. Hey, hey, hey. The two of you are showing off your love. Aren't you ashamed? Come, let's drink, Su Xiaoling's mother said and picked up her glass. Baiya followed everyone and took a sip. She did not know the brand of the brandy, but it was very spicy. She did not like it. Everyone chimed in, chatting happily. On the other hand, she did not say a word. It was as if she did not fit in with the lively banquet. After a few sips, she was a little tipsy. She looked at Gu Lingqing and happened to meet his gaze. Then, she looked away. Su Jiran suddenly lowered his head and kissed her on the forehead. Su Jiran drank a lot. The strong smell of alcohol rushed to the tip of her nose. Baiya was stunned. She did not like him to have physical contact with her, but under such circumstances, she could not act up. Su Jiran smiled and looked at her confidently. There was a hint of intoxication in his eyes. He lifted her chin and slowly moved his lips to hers. His action attracted the attention of the others at the table. Baiya clenched her fists. Should she dodge or take it? Her mind was in a mess. She could not make up her mind. You two are quite affectionate, Su Changhao said and interrupted Su Jiran's kiss. No matter how good other women are, they are not as good as my wife. Other women belong to others, but only my wife belongs to me. Su Jiran raised his glass and clinked with Su Changhao's. He drank the wine in one gulp. Su Xiaoling smiled. Her cousin was really good at wooing women. She looked at Gu Lingqing. Lingqing, come to my room. I have something for you. Gu Lingqing's jaw tightened. His face was livid and his deep eyes hid his anger. He stood up and left with Su Xiaoling. My girl is so shameless. They are not married yet and she brought him to the room, Su Xiaoling's mother said helplessly. So what? They are going to get married sooner or later. It doesn't matter if they do it earlier or later. Moreover, Lingqing is not young anymore. He is a hot-blooded young man. He will always have needs, Su Jing said indulgently. Baiya's heart tightened. It was as if something was gripping her heart. A wave of sourness flowed out from her heart and reached the blood. She took a sip of wine and numbed her mind with a more bitter and spicy taste. All right, since old Sue has said so, I can't go back on my word. Why don't we set the wedding date? Gu Tianhang said. Baya felt her head was heavy and her appetite was churning. She covered her mouth and said, "Excuse me." Chapter 69. She knew that she was sad. She started to feel sad when she saw Gu Lingqing appear in Su Xiaoling's house. In fact, even if it wasn't Su Xiaoling, there would still be other women who deserved him. He would never be hers, so why should she feel sad? Baya took a deep breath and splashed cold water on her face to make herself more rational. The door was suddenly pushed open. Baya saw that it was Gu Lingqing. Her heart tightened. She nodded and said softly, "I'm fine now. I'll let you in." Gu Lingqing stared at her and locked the door. Baya looked at him in confusion and met his deep eyes. His eyes seemed to contain the universe, and she couldn't see it clearly at all. "Why are you crying?" Gu Lingqing asked. Baya turned her face away guiltily. "I'm not crying. I drank too much and I want to throw up." Gu Lingqing walked towards her. He was approaching. Baya stepped back subconsciously. Gu Lingqing came to her, lifted her chin and looked at her coldly. "I don't believe you. I don't need you to believe me." Baya pushed him away and walked towards the door in a panic. Gu Lingqing was annoyed. She didn't avoid Su Jiran's kiss, so he felt that he had lost his mind. He grasped her arm, pulled her to his side, leaned down, and kissed her on the lips. Baya was so scared that she pushed his chest desperately. This was Su Xiaoling's house. He was crazy. They were still outside. Perhaps someone had seen him enter the bathroom. However, the more she struggled, the stronger Gu Lingqing became. He pressed the back of her head and put his fingers in her hair, not letting her have the possibility to retreat. They both drank a lot, and the smell of alcohol lingered in each other's noses. Baya was almost out of breath because of his kiss, but he didn't let her go. She felt the oxygen disappearing bit by bit. She had no strength at all. The hand that was originally pushing him away instinctively held onto his arm to support her body. Only then did he release her, panting. His chest was heaving up and down as he stared at her. "Let go of me. I'm going out." "My husband is still outside," Baya said worriedly. The word husband stimulated all of his nerves. Gu Lingqing picked her up and put her on the sink. The coldness of the pool made her shiver. "Gu Lingqing, what are you doing?" Baya wanted to get down. He held her back with one hand and kissed her lips, while his other hand slipped under her skirt. Baya widened her watery eyes, tears glistening in her eyes. She knew what he wanted and stiffened her body, refusing. But how could she be his opponent? When his fingers broke through the last barrier, Baya was so ashamed that she wanted to bite him. Instead, he let go of her lips. There was no desire in his eyes as he looked at her angrily. "Reject me again, or louder. If someone barges in, I can't do anything about it." Baya pushed his arm. "Don't be like this, don't be like this." He didn't move an inch. "Don't be like this. It's not like we haven't done this before. Is there a difference if we do it once or twice? You saw it too. It's impossible for us to be together. They are already discussing your marriage with Su Xiaoling. Do you want us to make mistakes after we get married?" Baya wasn't calm. He let go of her, unzipped his pants and stood in front of her. "Don't worry, I will never marry Su Xiaoling. I will only marry you." Baya paused for a moment, her heart trembling violently. He had already entered. She almost cried out, but he kissed her lips, silencing her voice. Baya furrowed her brows in frustration. Only then did he let go of her lips, his eyes burning as he looked at every expression on her face. Baya bit her lips. She couldn't push him away, she couldn't escape, she couldn't hide. What should she do? She felt wronged and sad. Tears flowed from the corner of her eyes. Gu Lingqing saw her crying and his heart softened. I know you must have something. You didn't tell me because you were afraid of implicating me. You don't have to tell me, I will investigate it myself. Don't worry, I will definitely help you solve it. Bai Ye was touched. She was so touched that she couldn't put it into words. She could only suppress it. I'm fine. I won't let you off even if you're fine. You are my first woman. You don't have to be responsible for me, but you have to be responsible for me. If you don't take responsibility, I won't let you off, Gu Lingqing said domineeringly. Bai Ye couldn't think anymore. She pursed her lips and gradually lost herself in the dream he had created. There was a knock on the door. She got nervous and Gu Lingqing was quite satisfied with her reaction. He pulled her in front of him and leaned on her tightly. Xiaoya, what are you doing inside? You've been in there for a long time, Su Jiran asked suspiciously. Gu Lingqing thought about it and didn't want to push it away. Su Jiran knocked on the door more urgently. I'll be out in a while, Bai Ye replied angrily. Open the door, Su Jiran ordered. Are you done? Bai Ye urged and pushed Gu Lingqing's shoulders. Kiss me, Gu Lingqing ordered. Su Jiran knocked on the door again. Bai Ye looked at Gu Lingqing and didn't have any intention of stopping. She had no choice but to hug the back of Gu Lingqing's neck and kiss his lips. Gu Lingqing picked her up and pushed her against the door. Bai Ye wanted to cry but had no tears. Xiaoling, do you have the key to this washroom? Su Jiran kissed Su Xiaoling. Yes, I'll get it for you, Su Xiaoling said confusedly. Oh yeah, did you see Gu Lingqing? Su Jiran's eyes shot out a sharp light. He glanced at the washroom door and his face turned pale. I didn't see him. Give me the key, Su Jiran said coldly. Bai Ye was so nervous that her heart was about to jump out. Gu Lingqing also kissed her fiercely in the end. The door was opened. Su Jiran glanced at the washroom. There was no one. Bai Ye. What? My stomach hurts. Bai Ye lowered her head and her face was as red as blood. Su Jiran knocked on the door of the washroom. Open it. Wait. Bai Ye took a deep breath, then another deep breath. She pressed on the toilet and opened the door. Su Jiran glanced inside. There was only Bai Ye. He glanced at Bai Ye's face. Why is your face so red? It's like this when I drink. My head hurts a little. I want to go back to sleep, Bai Ye said guiltily. She remembered that when she caught Su Jiran with another woman, he could talk and laugh as if nothing had happened. Why couldn't she? She hadn't been caught yet and she felt so guilty that she was about to die. Why was there such a big difference in the endurance of people? Su Jiran opened the washroom window and looked outside. Outside the window was the back garden. Chapter 70. Bai Ye wasn't good at lying. She licked her lips to cover up her panic. She answered ambiguously, didn't everyone see it today? Really? Su Jiran stared at her coldly. His eyes were as sharp as a knife, as if he had seen through her lies. Bai Ye looked at Su Jiran in confusion. He was with another woman, and even did that kind of thing in front of her. Why didn't he find out that he was wrong at that time? At that time, she might have felt the same as him now. Angry, desperate, crazy, collapsed, and began to doubt life. Bai Ye calmed down. What do you want to prove? I don't want to prove anything. I think you've heard that Gu Lingqing and Su Xiaoling are about to get married. His parents like Su Xiaoling very much, and they won't accept other women. The Su family won't let you go. Don't humiliate yourself. Don't even have some thoughts. Otherwise, I can guarantee that your life will be several times more painful than it is now. Do you hear me? Su Jiran ordered. Bai Ye's eyes dimmed. In fact, she understood in her heart. She didn't dare to think about her and Gu Lingqing at all. Just now, it wasn't what she was willing to do. However, listening to Gu Lingqing's confession, she was moved. She was moved for a moment. After all, being moved for a moment was like living for a lifetime. I know. Baya walked to the sink, turned on the tap, and washed her face. When she walked out of the bathroom, Gu Lingqing was already sitting on the sofa, talking to Su Changhao. He looked at her with deep eyes. Baya didn't dare to look at him, so she turned her face away. Uncle Su, Uncle Gu, Xiaoya is not feeling well. We'll go back first. Su Jiran smiled and greeted them. He seemed to be well-mannered. Did you drink too much? Go back and rest, Su Xiaoling's mother said lovingly. Baya nodded to Su Xiaoling's mother and left the room. Gu Lingqing watched as Baya walked away. Su Changhao patted Gu Lingqing's thigh to make Gu Lingqing come back to his senses. He lowered his voice and asked, "What's going on between you and Baya?" "She's my cousin's woman. I heard they've been married for 3 years. She is my woman," Gu Lingqing said with certainty. Su Changhao was shocked by Gu Lingqing. "You like her? She's a married woman. Are you crazy? Don't you want your future? You are most likely to become the president." Su Changhao was worried. "She will divorce soon." "I know what I'm doing," Gu Lingqing said confidently. "What do you know?" "My cousin isn't someone to be trifled with. His mother is actually very close to the president. His career is also very bright. His methods are not what you think. You can provoke anyone but my cousin's woman." Su Changhao disagreed. "Do you remember I told you that I was injected with a drug during a mission 3 years ago and hurt a woman?" Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. Su Changhao paused and guessed, "That woman is Baya?" Gu Lingqing nodded. "I ruined her life. I have to be responsible for her. Think carefully. You might not love her. It's because you feel guilty and sorry for her for a long time. You just want to make it up to her. Her character is completely different from Hai Lan. I don't believe you're in love with her." "I know what I feel for her," Gu Lingqing said with certainty. "Brother, what are you talking about?" Su Xiaoling sat next to Gu Lingqing. Su Changhao smiled and said to Su Xiaoling, "What I'm talking to him about is confidential. You better not know about this kind of thing." "I'm not interested either. Lingqing, Mom and Dad discussed with Uncle and Auntie to let us get engaged in October. What do you think?" Su Xiaoling asked happily. Gu Lingqing stood up and held Su Xiaoling's arm. They walked to the front of the parents. Su Xiaoling lowered her head sweetly. "There's something I need to tell you. I've always treated Ling as my sister. I'll take care of her like my biological sister. However, I don't have any romantic feelings for her. This is what I want to tell you today," Gu Lingqing said bluntly. The parents' faces turned ugly. "Bastard, do you know what you're talking about?" Gu Tianhang opened his eyes wide and said angrily. "I know what I'm talking about and what I want. I know how I should get along with Ling It's not a bad thing for Ling to have one more brother," Gu Lingqing said coldly. "Having one brother is enough for me." Su Xiaoling pulled her hand out. She was very irrational. Gu Lingqing didn't give her any face at all. She had no choice but to give up. "Is it because of Baya?" As soon as the name Baya came out, everyone was shocked. They looked at Gu Lingqing in surprise. Gu Lingqing clenched his teeth. His eyes emitted a sharp light as he glanced at Su Xiaoling. "It's because I don't like you," Gu Lingqing said sharply. "Then swear to Mom and Dad and everyone that you don't like Baya." "You won't be with Baya," Su Xiaoling said aggressively. "I don't need to swear to anyone. There's something going on in the army. I have to go back now." Gu Lingqing nodded at the elders and walked out of the room. "Ling what do you mean by that? Is Baya Jiarant's wife?" Su Xiaoling's mother pulled Su Xiaoling's hand. Su Xiaoling's eyes were red. Tears flowed out of her eyes. "It's that B*TCH. There was a loud bang. Gu Tianhang smashed the glass on the floor and said angrily, "Impossible. I will never let that kind of woman into the house. Su Xiaoling's mother looked at Su Changhao. How, you're Gu Lingxing's good friend and also Ling Er's brother. Tell me, what's going on? Su Changhao laughed dryly. Seeing everyone's murderous expression, he said, what are you guys thinking? It's impossible for Lingqing and Baiya to be together. Baiya is Jia Ran's wife. Lingqing just can't forget Zhou Hailan. He can't take it anymore because you guys are forcing him. Hailan has been dead for 5 years. Su Xiaoling exposed Su Changhao's lie. Lingqing has always been sentimental. He still has his primary school books. You guys know that. Alright, my baby sister. Su Changhao put his arm around Su Xiaoling's shoulder. He said earnestly, if you want Lingqing to like you, you should change your temper. You're so impulsive. How can Lingqing show his face? If I were Lingqing, I wouldn't like a woman like you either. Especially if you want to be my wife. I must find a virtuous woman. Su Changhao became the peacemaker. He saw everyone's expression soften. He sighed. Chapter 71. Baiya thought about it and went back to Xiongdani. Along the way, Su Jiran kept examining her. She could feel his gaze. It was like a sharp blade cutting her body. She could only ignore it and pretend that she did not see it. Baiya, did you do it with Gu Lingqing? If you did, I'm willing to let you go, Su Jiran said coldly. Baiya paused. She turned her head and looked at Su Jiran confusedly. She looked at his cold face. She could not tell if what he said was true or not. If she did it, would Su Jiran take revenge on Gu Lingqing? She did not want to hurt Gu Lingqing. Su Jiran, aside from those external reasons, do you think we're still suitable to be together? You've seen how your mother views me. You're so smart. You should know that no one will be happy, Baiya said coldly. Su Jiran curled his lips and walked in front of her, as if he had seen through her. Are you changing the topic? Baiya raised her chin. I'm just stating the truth. The truth is that Gu Lingxing's parents will never accept you. You should give up. If I find out that you're still in a relationship with Gu Lingqing, I promise that I'll ruin his reputation. You can try to challenge me, Su Jiran threatened. If he ruins his reputation, what about you? Do you think that you can protect yourself? Do you think that the dirty things you've done will be buried in the dust of time? Baiya frowned and asked. She did not hide her disgust for Su Jiran. Su Jiran curled his lips. He held Baiya's waist and pulled her into his arms. He said arrogantly, let's try. Baiya desperately tried to pull him away. She didn't like his wild aura. The more she struggled, the more sinister he became. Baiya, it's time for us to live as a married couple, right? Baiya looked at him in panic. Su Jiran, don't go overboard. Even if we're married, I can sue you if I don't want to. I've already told you. Am I afraid? Su Jiran said arrogantly. He carried Baiya and walked towards Xiongdani's room. Baiya realized that what Su Jiran said was true. She didn't want Su Jiran to touch her. Su Jiran, let go of me. Let go of me. She struggled desperately, but she couldn't break free at all. In a moment of desperation, he bit Su Jiran's shoulder. He bit it hard. Her mouth was full of blood, but she didn't let go. Su Jiran's face was ashen, and his eyes were filled with loneliness and murderous intent. He threw Baiya on the sofa and untied his tie. Baiya hurriedly ran towards the door. She had only taken a few steps when she was pulled back by Su Jiran. She scratched at Su Jiran's face like a madman. Su Jiran had completely lost his mind. His eyes were bloodshot, and he grabbed Baiya's hands and tied them behind her back. Baiya knew that she couldn't escape this. She was trembling in fear. Su Jiran, don't do this. Don't touch me. I promise to stay by your side forever. Don't touch me. She screamed the last word. She's really not with Gu Lingqin? Of course not, Su Jiran replied with a smile. Xiong Daini looked at Bai Ye's disheveled clothes and was instantly enraged. She slapped Bai Ye's face again. Remember, this slap is to teach you a lesson. If you dare to mess around with the identity of Mrs. Su, this isn't a lesson. What the hell, are you so impatient? Go on. Xiong Daini found it hard to speak. She said in disdain, don't dirty my place. Bai Ye stood up and broke free from Su Jiran's tie. She slapped Xiong Daini's face. Xiong Daini had never been slapped before. She looked at Bai Ye in shock. This slap is for you, Bai Ye said coldly. Chapter 72. Xiong Daini was furious. She raised her hand and slapped Bai Ye's face. Bai Ye grabbed Xiong Daini's wrist. You cherish your son, but don't slander other people's daughters. Have you ever stopped your son from having fun outside? Where did you get the cheek to care about other people's daughters? Jiran, why are you still standing there? Hit her. If I don't make her apologize, my surname isn't Xiong, Xiong Daini yelled. Bai Ye looked at Su Jiran coldly and met his deep eyes. Bai Ye, apologize, Su Jiran said in a commanding tone. Even if I apologize, I won't be doing it to you and your son. You don't deserve it, Bai Ye said stubbornly. Divorce, we have to divorce. Bai Ye, you be *tch, get out of here with nothing. You don't want a single cent from Jiran's assets. Xiong Daini stomped her feet angrily. Okay, Bai Ye agreed decisively. Su Jiran slapped Bai Ye's face. He used a lot of force. Bai Ye was thrown to the ground. Her head was white, and she felt dizzy as if she was seeing stars. Hot liquid flowed out of her nose. She took half a minute to regain her senses. For a moment, she thought she was going to faint. She didn't want to faint in Su Jiran's house. She looked at Su Jiran with a cold and empty gaze. If I don't teach you a lesson, do you really think I'll let you do whatever you want? Su Jiran said angrily. Jiran, you did a good job. A woman like her should suffer a little. Otherwise, she wouldn't have closed her legs. B*tch, Xiong Dailin scolded. Shouldn't you apologize now? Su Jiran warned fiercely. Bai Ye stood up and straightened his back. You can beat me to death, but don't expect me to beg for mercy from you people. Don't you miss your friends? Su Jiran asked in a sinister tone. Bai Ye paused. Yes, she still had friends. She couldn't drag them down because of her. Bai Ye smiled, defeated like a pear blossom. What he was suffering now was because his brain was filled with water back then. She shouldn't have provoked a demon like Su Jiran. I'm sorry. Bai Ye looked down and said coldly. Get lost. Don't ever come to my place again, bitch. Xiong Daini roared. Bai Ye walked out without looking back. When Su Jiran saw her walk past him, he felt as though his heart was pinched by a bee. It hurt, ached, and was a little panicked. Jiran, you can't have a woman like her. Hurry up and get a divorce. Because of her, I won't object to you marrying Xing Jinyan. It's better than her, Xiong Daini said in frustration. Mom, Xiaoya is a good person. She's just a little stubborn. Most of the time, she's quite sensible. Give her a chance to get to know her better. Su Jiran looked out of the house. Bai Ye was leaving. He wanted to leave too. What's so good about it? She slapped me twice. My face is still red. Didn't you see? She slapped me twice. I can't let her off so easily. Divorce, we must get a divorce, Xiong Daini said domineeringly. Didn't you slap her twice too? Su Jiran coaxed Xiong Daini gently. I'm an elder. It's my duty to beat her to death. Yes, you're right. I helped you slap her too. She even had a nosebleed. Calm down, Mom. Worst comes to worst, I'll beat her again when I get home. I'll beat her until she can't get out of bed. Is that okay? Su Jiran said with a smile. I really don't know why you don't want to get a divorce. Xiong Daini was confused. I'm the deputy director of the health bureau now. If I get a divorce, won't it affect my future? Don't worry. First of all, you're married in secret. Secondly, even if you get a divorce, I can say a few words in front of the president. He won't refuse to promote you. He'll put you in an important position in the future. Xiong Daini sighed. I'll see to it. Okay, Mom. Don't be angry. I'll put some on your face. Otherwise, it'll hurt your beautiful face. Su Jiran let go of Xiong Daini and walked to the fridge. Rumble, there was thunder outside. The sky suddenly became gloomy. Su Jiran looked out of the window worriedly. It was difficult to get a taxi here, let alone a bus. Baya shouldn't have gone far. Mom, it's going to rain. I should go back, Su Jiran said. No. Let that bitch suffer a little. She won't disobey me in the future. Put some on my face. Hurry up. Xiong Daini said overbearingly. Su Jiran looked out of the window. His eyes were fierce. He didn't go out. He took some ice cubes out of the fridge. Baya was walking on the road. Raindrops dripped on her nose. She looked up at the sky. It was dark, as if a storm was coming. Compared with the devil Su Jiran, a little rain was nothing. She called a taxi, but the nearest one would arrive in half an hour. They were afraid of being stood up and didn't want to come. She could only walk forward. In less than 2 minutes, the rain poured down and hit her thin body. Soon, she was drenched. She wanted to find a place to hide from the rain, but the storm didn't look like it would stop anytime soon. She could only walk on the road and try her luck to see if anyone was willing to give her a ride. A car stopped beside her. Gu Lingqing rolled down the window. Get in. Baya saw that it was Gu Lingqing. She didn't want to get in. No need. Gu Lingqing took off his suit and opened the car door to get out. She knew that she couldn't fight him. She didn't want him to get wet, so she opened the car door and got in. Gu Lingqing saw her face. A sharp light flashed in his eyes. He pinched her chin and pushed her over. Her face was red and swollen. Her fingers were intertwined. He gritted his teeth. He felt heartache and anger. Who hit you? Su Jiran, you lied to me that you were in love with each other. She saw concern in his eyes. Her eyes were wet. She was too tired now. She didn't want to fight with her heart, so she didn't say anything. Gu Lingqing passed the suit to her. Put it on. Don't catch a cold. Baya put on his suit. His clothes still carried his body heat, and it was very warm. She gathered her clothes and leaned back in her chair to look at him. You still don't want to tell me why you compromised with Su Jiran? Or do you really want me to go crazy? Gu Lingqing looked at her domineeringly. Baya was touched. The redness in her eyes deepened. She said softly, Gu Lingqing, if I hadn't met you, I would have lost all hope. Gu Lingqing could hear the compromise in her tone. He turned his face away and held her cold hand. Leave everything to me. I'll handle it properly. Tears flowed from her eyes. They passed through her lips. They were salty. She looked out of the window. She could destroy herself. She liked him and didn't want to bring him along. Gu Lingqing, how long have we known each other? Baya asked calmly. I've asked this question before. Let's change it, Gu Lingqing said. Chapter 73. She really liked Gu Lingqing. She liked him when he was gentle. She liked him when he was domineering. She quite liked it when he was being unreasonable. That was why she was willing to give it to him, but she didn't want Su Jiran to touch it. What are you laughing at? Gu Lingqing asked. Baya, don't deserve to be liked by you. I think I'm quite lucky. Baiya took a deep breath and adjusted his emotions. Gu Lingqing didn't say anything. He just looked at the car in front of him. The heavy rain pitter-pattered on the car, which made him very annoyed. Baiya looked at Gu Lingqing, and his eyes softened. Gu Lingqing, actually, I'm satisfied with this. Gu Lingqing suddenly braked, looked at Baiya, and said coldly, I don't feel satisfied. What should I do? You can't see a person clearly in a month. Some people can't be seen clearly even after a year, 3 years, or even 10 years. I think I'm not the person you've been looking for, Baiya said rationally. Whether you're the person I've been waiting for, I know it myself. Baiya, I won't allow you to back off. Gu Lingqing held her arm tightly and looked at her with burning eyes. But I know clearly that you're not the person I've been waiting for. The more I get to know you, the more I feel that you're not suitable. Love is not a one-way choice. As long as one party disagrees, it won't be balanced. Baiya looked straight at him and didn't back off. So, you don't like me, right? Gu Lingqing asked coldly. Baiya swallowed bitterly. I don't like you. What do you mean by you don't like me? Gu Lingqing's tone became colder. Because I know you want me. You've helped me a lot, and I can't repay you. So you're repaying me? Gu Lingqing shook off her hand. Baiya clenched her fists and lowered her eyes. Her long eyelashes covered the ripples in her eyes as she admitted, yes. Gu Lingqing punched the steering wheel. The car honked shrilly. Gu Lingqing's chest heaved violently. He was silent for a minute. Baiya was also silent. She was so silent that the temperature of her body had completely receded. She felt waves of coldness invading her heart. After a long time, Gu Lingqing squinted at him. Her secretive eyes were like dead wood. Do you think it's possible for you to fall in love with me? Baiya shook her head. Your liking is already a burden to me. Got it. Gu Lingqing was driving. Along the way, he didn't speak again and sent Baiya to Lu Shuang's place. As soon as Baiya got out of the car, Gu Lingqing drove the car away before she could return the clothes to him. She looked at the back of the car and stood there in silence. She knew that she had completely lost him. That was good. He was high up and shouldn't have anything to do with a woman like her. In the future, she could just see him on TV. Baiya turned around and entered the elevator. Just when she came out of the elevator, her phone rang. She saw that it was Su Jiran calling. She felt very annoyed and didn't answer it. Instead, she muted the phone and threw it on the sofa. She went into the bathroom, took a shower, changed her clothes, took out ice from the fridge and put it on her face. Then she went to the kitchen to make dinner for Lu Shuang. Everything was calm as if nothing had happened during the day. Lu Shuang opened the door and saw the dishes on the table. It smells so good. Wash your hands and come for dinner. Baiya walked out of the kitchen with the yam ribs. Are you okay today? Lu Shuang asked worriedly. He walked towards Baiya and saw the red and swollen face. His heart skipped a beat. Who hit you? Su Jiran? Baiya smiled. It's just a flesh wound. I don't feel any pain now. Compared to the first year of my marriage, I feel much better. He's using domestic violence. Lu Shuang said angrily. I slapped his mother twice, and he slapped me once. Actually, I'm the one who earned it. Baiya comforted him with a smile. That scumbag Su Jiran actually has a mother? The more Lu Shuang thought about it, the more he felt that Baiya's life would be very hard in the future. Let's eat. When Su Jiran finds another prey, I can resume my peaceful life. Based on my understanding of him, he won't be interested in a woman for more than 3 months. Don't worry. Baiya sat down and started eating. Lu Shuang held Baiya's hand and said guiltily, Xiao Bai, I'm sorry. I've harmed you. Otherwise, you and Gu Lingqing would be together. I met Gu Lingqing's parents today. One is the high and mighty deputy commander, and the other is a strong woman. What do you think about me? Baya asked. I think you're pretty good. Lu Shuang blurted out. That's because we're colleagues and friends. In fact, a person like Gu Lingqing will marry a woman who matches his family background. Otherwise, his future will not be smooth. Even if you hadn't done this, Gu Lingqing and I wouldn't have been able to be together. Let's just treat it as a dream. Baya smiled. Have you really let it go? Lu Shuang's eyes turned red. I think it's a pity. Of course it's a pity. Gu Lingqing is equivalent to a few thousand tons of rice. Anyone would be envious of him. However, I can only eat 3 buckets of rice a day. It's not suitable. Baya picked up a piece of braised pork for Lu Shuang. If you can't eat it, you can sell it. Why are you so stubborn? Lu Shuang's eyes turned even redder. Baya held Lu Shuang's hand. To me, friends are precious. I've thought it through. Lu Shuang's phone rang. She saw it was Su Jiran and got angry. Why are you calling me? Do you want to die? Open the door. I'm outside. Su Jiran used a commanding tone and hung up the phone. Lu Shuang picked up the mop, opened the door, and hit Su Jiran without any explanation. Su Jiran grasped the mop even faster than him. Lu Shuang pulled a few times but couldn't get the mop out. He scolded. How dare you come here? Where's my nude photo? Why don't you go and die? I saw you and Xing Jinyan doing unspeakable things in the wild with my own eyes. Why are you pestering Xiao Bai? Su Jiran ignored Lu Shuang and glanced at Baya sharply. Follow me. Baya pursed her lips and didn't say a word. I'll only give you 1 minute. I'll wait for you downstairs, Su Jiran said and flung the mop from Lu Shuang's hand. He looked at her maliciously and turned to leave. Baya, don't go. Let him do it. I don't care. I have a good figure. What's there to be afraid of? Lu Shuang said irrationally. Baya stood up and told Lu Shuang, I'll deal with it myself. Stay at home and don't do anything. I'll see you at the hospital tomorrow. Don't go. Lu Shuang cried anxiously. I'll have to face it eventually. There's no way to avoid it. I'll be fine. Baya smiled. She threw her phone into her bag and walked out of the door. The more Lu Shuang thought about it, the more dangerous Baya felt. Chapter 74. The phone rang once, twice, thrice, until it was hung up. There was no answer. F***ck, Lu Shuang was furious and smashed the phone angrily. But now that Baya was in danger, she couldn't be swayed by her emotions. Lu Shuang picked up the phone from the ground again. Luckily, the phone wasn't broken. She called Gu Lingqing again, but there was still no answer. Lu Shuang was so anxious that he almost cried. Gu Lingqing, answer the phone. I'm waiting for you to save me. Lu Shuang said to himself. Unfortunately, Gu Lingqing still didn't answer the phone. When Lu Shuang really wanted to smash the phone again, Gu Lingqing called back. Leader Gu, you finally answered the phone. I want to die. Lu Shuang said with a crying voice. Get to the point. I'm in a meeting. Gu Lingqing said coldly. Okay. Leader Gu, please save Baya. She was taken away by Su Jiran. She has never slept with Su Jiran. She lied to you. Besides, it's all my fault that she can't be with you. Su Jiran took an indecent video of me. Su Jiran used this to threaten Baya. So, Baya can't get a divorce. She likes you, I promise. She just doesn't want to affect your career, so she said those cruel words on purpose. Lu Shuang told the truth. Gu Lingqing frowned, and his eyes were unfathomable. He knew that Baya must have a reason. I'll deal with it. That's all for now. Gu Lingqing folded his arms and looked at the time. You must deal with it immediately. They have been gone for several minutes. I'm afraid it's too late. Lu Shuang said anxiously. I see. Gu Lingqing hung up the phone, thought for a while, and called the director of the City A Police Department. Hello, I'm from the military. Su Jiran, the deputy director of the Health Bureau, is involved in a major case. We need him to cooperate with the investigation. Locate his phone immediately and arrest him in 10 minutes. This involves military secrets. You must remain silent. Our lieutenant colonel will come over to handle it. Yes, we will cooperate with the military, the director promised. On the road Baya looked out of the window. The rain was still very heavy, slapping against the window. The scenery outside was somewhat blurry, just like her mind. It had been ravaged like a lily in a storm, teetering on the verge of collapse. Su Jiran looked at her. Her face was still swollen. He knew very well how much strength he had exerted in his slap. But how arrogant was he to apologize? It was impossible for him to say that. Move back here. I will spend the night at your place every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Su Jiran said as if he was giving alms. Baya sarcastically twitched the corner of her mouth, drew circles on the window with her snow-white fingers, and said coldly, What about the other 2, 4, 6, and 7? You can't be too greedy. I've always been greedy. You know that. I want my man to be loyal to me alone. Baya said calmly. Why do you want a man to be loyal to you alone? How many men don't go out to play nowadays? Women just turn a blind eye to it and live a relaxed life. Su Jiran reminded her. So? Baya squinted at him. We have different goals, so we can't work together. Su Jiran's eyes became fierce. He sneered and said sarcastically, In my eyes, you are not qualified to work with me. Really? Baya was very calm. She leaned against the seat and pulled the seatbelt. She looked at the strong wind outside, but her heart became calmer. Neither of them spoke. It was eerily quiet in the car. If you feel lonely, I agree to let you give birth to a child for me. I will give you 100,000 yuan every month. You can do your job as a doctor if you want. It doesn't matter if you don't want to, Su Jiran said. Baya did not say anything. Su Jiran furrowed his eyebrows. Did you hear that? Baya turned sideways and faced Su Jiran. I've been thinking about it. My status is not as good as Xing Jinyan's, and my looks are not as good as Xing Jinyan's. Xing Jinyan loves you so much. Why don't you divorce him? Su Jiran, have you fallen in love with me? Su Jiran smiled. His eyes seemed to be enchanted by a thin layer of gauze. You think too much. Fall in love with you? How is that possible? Then why don't you divorce him? Gu Lingqing likes you so much. I should use you as bait to make him do something wrong so that I can pull him down from his high horse, right? Su Jiran said with a chuckle. It seemed to be true and false. Baya could not tell at all. If what he said was true, all the more she should not be involved with Gu Lingqing. Su Jiran stopped the car. Baya looked ahead. There was a roadblock on the road. A few police cars were parked there. A police officer came over and knocked on the window. Su Jiran lowered the window. The police officer had an ID. Su Jiran, you're involved in an unusual case. Please come with us. Me? Su Jiran paused for 3 seconds and smiled. Did the military call you to do this? We don't know. We're just following orders. Come out. The police officer opened the door without hesitation. Very good, ha ha ha, very good. Su Jiran looked at Baya and blinked his right eye. He was not depressed at all because he was caught. On the contrary, he was in a good mood. Baya was even more worried. Would Su Jiran really use her as bait? No, Su Jiran would not guess that she knew Gu Lingqing. However, who could say for sure when it came to politics? Maybe it was because of her relationship with Gu Lingqing that Su Jiran set her up. Baiya's phone rang. She saw that it was Gu Lingqing calling. She hesitated and did not answer it. Her phone immediately rang. It was Gu Lingqing. I know you're in the car. Answer the phone in 1 minute or I'll come in and look for you. Baiya looked at Gu Lingqing's domineering tone. When he called again, she answered it. Gu Lingqing was silent. He was obviously angry. After a while, he said, "Are you okay? Are you hurt?" Hearing Gu Lingqing's voice, Baiya's heart softened a little. She had read a magazine before. The magazine said that a good love was when both parties or one of them grew up in a sunny place. She and Gu Lingqing were obviously not like that. I'm fine. I'm not hurt. Let Su Jiran go. I want to solve my own problems, Baiya said gently. Gu Lingqing really did not like her. He always pushed her away. Must you alienate me like this? Gu Lingqing asked coldly. If you think so, then so be it, Baiya said and hung up the phone. Gu Lingqing got out of the car. He did not open an umbrella and walked in the rain. Lieutenant Colonel Shang immediately opened the black umbrella and supported Gu Lingqing. Half of his shoulder was drenched in the rain. Water dripped from his hair and he was shrouded in the gloomy aura of the rain. He opened the door of Baiya's car and stared at Baiya, who was sitting in the passenger seat. Chapter 75. Baiya hesitated and looked at the road surveillance camera. What was the point of leaving with Gu Lingqing now? Maybe the surveillance camera would become the evidence of hurting Gu Lingqing. She didn't want that. I have something to do. Baiya rejected him politely. Gu Lingqing's cold eyes narrowed and he sneered. He was the first person who dared to reject him. He carried her up forcefully. Gu Lingqing, what are you doing? Put me down, others will see you like this, Baiya said worriedly. What did you see? What are you worried about? Tell me everything. Why do you keep it in your heart? His face was cold and he was angry. I am a married woman, Baiya said cruelly. Shut up, Gu Lingqing ordered. I am someone else's wife. It's impossible for me and Su Jiran to get a divorce. Even if I shut up, I can't change this fact. Don't you feel wronged? You are high up and powerful, but you are willing to be an assistant minister, Baiya said anxiously. Gu Lingqing threw her on the back seat. Say it, continue. Say it to your heart's content. Don't mention it to me in the future. It's not that these things don't exist if I don't mention it. Deceiving yourself is just deceiving others and yourself. I think Chief Gu should be smart. He knows who he shouldn't touch and who he shouldn't provoke. He should know better than me, Baiya said bluntly. The way he addressed him as chief and the way he shouldn't touch him made his eyes red and his anger kept rising. I've already touched him. What do you think I should do? Gu Lingqing looked at him sharply. His jaw was tight and he got on the back seat. As soon as he got on the car, the air pressure suddenly became much lower and the air became oppressive. Then you should stop before going too far. It's not like you should continue doing something wrong, but you should correct it, right? Baiya wanted to get out of the car. She couldn't stay in the same car as him, so she opened the door beside her. Gu Lingqing's pupils constricted. She held her arms and said coldly, I'm sorry. I'm not going to correct the mistake. Even if it's wrong, I'll treat it as right and go on. You're mine. Was he confessing? Baiya was shocked. Before she could react, he kissed her lips. She knew it was wrong and stepped back. He pressed the back of her head and kissed her even hotter. Baiya had nowhere to retreat, so she pushed his shoulder hard. If you can't push it away, hit it. He remained motionless. Lieutenant Colonel Shang was anxious. Madam Bai, just give in to our leader. He won't mistreat you. He was in the middle of a meeting and there was something important. When he heard that something had happened to you, he rushed over immediately. Baiya knew that Gu Lingqing treated her well. But the better he was, the more she couldn't hurt him. They had only known each other for less than a month. He could pull away and she didn't have to fall too deeply into it. It was just a one-night stand. She bit his tongue that had ravaged her mouth. Gu Lingqing didn't step back. He stared at her. Baya tasted his sweet blood and her heart softened. She didn't bite him anymore and let go. He deepened the kiss. He didn't let her step back. He didn't even give her time to breathe. He made her swallow his blood. It entered her stomach and blended into her blood. His kiss was too forceful and overbearing. She really couldn't breathe. Her limbs were weak and she couldn't resist. Only then did he slowly soften. Lieutenant Colonel Shang closed the door for them and asked the soldiers to get out of the car. He lowered the window and closed the door. With Gu Lingqing's car as the center, it spread out for at least 100 meters. Baya wanted to die. Even if they didn't do anything, other people would imagine it. He and Lieutenant Colonel Shang had a tacit understanding. Lieutenant Colonel Shang asked the soldiers to leave. He closed the window and the door. His actions were much wilder. He pressed Baya on the car seat. In the narrow space, the two of them were very close. While he was kissing her, he had already pulled the K down inside her. As soon as Baya could speak, she said, "Gu Lingqing, we can't do this." He had completely lost his mind. His eyes were bloodshot. The memories from 3 years ago flowed through his mind. If he had taken her away from her wedding, she wouldn't have married Su Jiran. She would have been his long ago. "Can you think carefully before you answer?" Gu Lingqing said angrily. No. Baya was very determined. But her determination didn't work on him at all. Baya exclaimed. She felt his storm-like anger. She didn't like the current Gu Lingqing. She wanted to break free, but she fell deeper into the whirlpool. "You can't do this." Baya frowned and her eyes were red. "Can't do what?" He grabbed her waist, and his temples were throbbing. "Are we not suitable for each other?" "Look, we're very suitable, aren't we?" Baya turned her face away. If it was 3 years ago, when she wasn't married yet, she would have risked her life. Even if Gu Lingqing's family didn't agree, she would accompany him to walk through hell. But now it was different from 3 years ago. She wasn't even qualified to accompany him to walk through hell. Gu Lingqing clamped her chin and made her face him. A dark pain flowed through his eyes. "Baya, I like you. Can't you feel it?" Waves of excitement flowed through Baya's heart. His confession, unintentionally, was poison. It could erode all her reason and resistance. "Woo woo woo." Baya cried. She didn't know whether she was sad, touched, or desperate. "Lu Shuang has already told me to leave this matter to me. I will solve it. Don't push me away. I don't care about your identity, your past, or your status. I only care about your feelings." He lowered his head. They were very intimate. His kiss fell on her rosy lips. Baya breathed softly and closed her eyes. His kiss moved from her eyes, to the bridge of her nose, and then to her lips. "Think of a way to delete the surveillance cameras here," Baya said worriedly. "It has been done." Gu Lingqing said in a low voice and held the back of her neck. Maybe because it was comfortable, his eyes gradually softened. "Lu Shuang said that you broke up with me because you didn't want to implicate me, right?" Baya didn't say anything. She had already felt his strong presence. She was afraid of a reaction, but the reaction was strong. "If that's the case, you don't have to worry. My status is not something that Su Jiran, the director of the Sanitary Bureau, can shake," Gu Lingqing said with certainty. Baya couldn't hear what he was saying. She clenched his arm tightly, and her face was blushing. She couldn't think clearly now, and she didn't want to think clearly. Gu Lingqing leaned over and kissed her lips again. In a daze, she remembered something. It seemed that she hadn't taken the medicine. Chapter 76. Gu Lingqing sent Baya back to Lu Shuang's place. Seeing Baya come back, Lu Shuang hurried to greet her. He touched his forehead, chest, and shoulders with his fingers and said happily, "Thank God. Gu Lingqing brought you back. I was really worried that something bad would happen to you." Baya stared at Lu Shuang. She knew that Lu Shuang meant well, but she didn't want to get Gu Lingqing involved. "Shuang, Su Jiran was taken away by the police. He won't stay there forever. Gu Lingqing can save me for a while, but he can't save me forever," Baya said rationally. "I don't care. Instead of worrying about it, let the storm come fiercely. It won't do Su Jiran any good if he explodes. If he offends Shinian, he won't have a good life in the future. Let's just destroy each other," Lu Shuang said impulsively. "Don't be so irrational. If you're irrational, you'll only be the unlucky one." Baya sighed. "What else can I do? Watch you be violated by that scumbag Su Jiran?" Lu Shuang said angrily. Baya looked out of the window. The storm was still heavy. The rain fell on the ground and made splashes. The whole city A was shrouded in the misty rain. It was hazy and confusing. "I've thought about it for a long time. I have an idea." Baya looked at the night and said in a deep voice. "What is it? Tell me quickly. I'll do it." Lu Shuang moved Baya's body and said anxiously. "Su Jiran has your video as a blackmail. What if I also have his blackmail?" Baya asked back. "He's so cunning. He doesn't like you and won't tell you anything. You've just met his parents today. You can imagine how defensive Su Jiran is. He won't tell you his secret," Lu Shuang said with certainty. "Not that. I'm talking about his relationship with Xing Jinyan. They are the disgusting relationship between a sugar daddy and a slave girl. I get angry whenever I mention it. Didn't you see how shameless Xing Jinyan is? He did that with Su Jiran in the wild. I feel like vomiting," Lu Shuang said angrily. "So, it's a good thing that Su Jiran doesn't keep a low profile. He is a senior official. He's a senior official. He is a senior official. He is a senior official. He is a senior official. It's not good for him. Maybe we can drag him down from his position," Baya thought. "You also said that he is a senior official. That you or something has disappeared. They don't dare to provoke Su Jiran. But Xing Jinyan dares to provoke him. Xing Jinyan's father is the governor. In terms of power, he is 2 ranks higher than Su Jiran. Now that Xing Jinyan is with Su Jiran, she probably wants me to divorce Su Jiran. So, she will cooperate with us to get the evidence," Baya guessed. Xing Jinyan is a socialite. Her father is the governor. I don't think she will be willing to expose herself as a mistress. They are all selfish, Lu Shuang said worriedly. How will we know if we don't try? I can still negotiate with her. Baya had already made up her mind. She did not want to sit still and wait. She called Xing Jinyan. Xing Jinyan picked up the call. "You actually called me?" Xing Jinyan said in a strange tone. "Su Jiran said he doesn't want a divorce. He even used my friend's secret to threaten me. You should know what it is." Baya went straight to the point. Xing Jinyan's gaze turned sinister. "What do you mean? Did you call to show off?" "I don't need to. I just called to tell you that we are on the same boat now. We have a common goal, and that is to get Su Jiran to divorce," Baya said calmly. "I'm sorry, but I don't want the man that Baya doesn't want." "I don't need to eat your leftovers," Xing Jinyan said angrily. "Are you sure you don't want him? Do you know Su Changhao?" Baya asked. "What's wrong, Chief of the Air Force? Don't tell me you have hooked up with him?" Xing Jinyan said sarcastically. "He is Su Jiran's cousin. You should know Su Jiran's background. He is now the deputy director of the Ministry of Health, and he might become the director next year. In another 2 years, he will be the mayor. According to his background, his position will be higher than your father's in less than 10 years. Do you really want to give up? Baiya said with a smile. Then why don't you want him? Xing Jinyan frowned. Because he likes you, not me. Why should I want a man who doesn't love me? 10 years later, I will be 34. If I get kicked by him at that time, wouldn't I have wasted 10 years of my youth? Hee, then I will wait for his divorce 10 years later. Xing Jinyan said proudly. Don't forget that I will be 34 in 10 years, and you will be 34 in 10 years. Can you guarantee that Su Jiran will still love you? Can you guarantee that there won't be a girl who is more beautiful and younger than you? Baiya spared no effort to provoke him. Xing Jinyan squinted his eyes and hesitated for a while. He lowered his voice and asked, "What do you want?" "Help me get the video of Lu Shuang, and I will hire a lawyer to handle the divorce." "I will definitely be able to get a divorce," Baiya said. Su Jiran made a few copies of the video. Xing Jinyan regretted it the moment she said it. She should have only given one copy to Baiya and lied to Baiya to get a divorce. If Baiya asked for a divorce and Su Jiran exposed the video, it would be useless no matter how many copies she had. Baiya would definitely be more determined to get a divorce. She made a slip of the tongue and wanted to bite off her tongue. Baiya also knew that Su Jiran would prepare a few copies. There's another way. I have the evidence of you and Su Jiran having an affair. You want to set me up? Su Jiran hasn't gotten a divorce yet, and I won't have a legitimate reason to marry him. My reputation will be ruined, Xing Jinyan said angrily. You and Su Jiran were so brazen in the villa by the sea. Do you think your reputation isn't ruined now? Except, those people don't. I just want to expose you, Baiya said coldly. That's why I can't give you the evidence. How would I know if you want to divorce me or frame me? Xing Jinyan said defensively. Don't worry. I got the evidence of you and Su Jiran just to threaten Su Jiran not to release Lu Shuang's video. I will only treasure the recording of you and Su Jiran. As for you, you can get Lu Shuang's video and copy it. If I release the video of you and Su Jiran to the public, you can also release the video of Lu Shuang. I didn't divorce because I wanted Lu Shuang's video. Do you think I would do that? Baiya analyzed rationally. Xing Jinyan was silent. 15 seconds later. She asked in a deep voice, "Are you really willing to divorce? Do I have a reason to lie to you?" Baiya asked. Okay, deal. I will give you the video as soon as possible, but please divorce as soon as possible. Xing Jinyan made up her mind. She couldn't trap the wolf without sacrificing the child. Baiya also raised the corner of her mouth slightly. Chapter 77. Baiya hung up the phone. Lu Shuang asked anxiously, "She agreed?" Baiya nodded. She agreed. There's no harm in it for her. She'll agree. That's great. Now we just have to wait for her to get the evidence. Then you can divorce Su Jiran. I'll be waiting to attend your wedding with Gu Lingqing. Lu Shuang was happy for Baiya. Baiya didn't say anything. She walked to the window and looked outside. The rain was still pitter-pattering, just like her current mood. Asterisk 2:00 in the morning. Su Jiran walked out of the police station. Xiong Dani was wearing a long black dress and a hat. The gauze on the hat covered her face. What's going on? I called their director and said that the military arrested you. Why did the military arrest you? Xiong Dani asked anxiously. Su Jiran curled the corner of his mouth and looked ahead coldly. Since Gu Lingqing wants to play, I'll play with him. Why does Gu Lingqing want to play with you? Xiong Dani widened her eyes anxiously. The thing between him and Baiya is true, isn't it? I'll take care of it. You don't have to worry about it, Su Jiran said firmly. How can I not care? Even the president is afraid of the power of the Gu family. Don't provoke him anymore. If he wants Baya, do him a favor and give Baya to him. Anyway, that girl has to be dirty. Don't forget that she was raped 3 years ago, Xiong Dani said angrily. She said angrily. I can give up Baya, but I can't let others take him away. They are two different things. The president is afraid of the Gu family, but I'm not, Su Jiran said arrogantly. Jiaran, I'm worried about you. Please don't do anything that will make me worried, for the sake of your father's soul and heaven, Xiong Dani pleaded. I can't lose my backbone. I know what to do. It's late, go back and rest. If you don't rest, you're going to get old. Su Jiran said with an evil smile. Jiaran. Xiong Dani still wanted to say something. Su Jiran smiled and put his arm around her shoulders. All right, my great beauty, I'll stay in the dark. I won't fight with him in the open, okay? Leave as soon as possible. Xing Batian is still waiting for you to approach him. Xiong Dani reminded. Su Jiran's eyes darkened, and darkness flowed through his eyes. I'll send you back first. It's okay, someone will send me back. Go back and rest. You don't care about yourself, but I do, Xiong Dani said helplessly, frowning. She really didn't want Baya to harm her son. Xing Jinyan pounced into Su Jiran's arms the moment he got home. Jiaran, I thought you weren't coming back today. I've been waiting for you for so long. Su Jiran wasn't in a good mood, so he hugged Xing Jinyan's waist. Xing Jinyan wasn't wearing any clothes, and she was as enchanting as a water snake. Stop fooling around. I'm a little tired. I'm going to take a shower, Su Jiran said gently. I'll run the water for you and help you take a shower, Xing Jinyan said coquettishly. She pushed open the bathroom door, turned on the light, and ran the water. Su Jiran tore off his tie, and Baya's image flashed through his mind. He squinted his eyes and sneered. His eyes were full of desire. He pushed open the bathroom door and entered. The bathroom was filled with steam, and it was foggy, as if it was made of gauze. Xing Jinyan stood up from the bathtub. There was a lot of foam on her body, and it covered her important parts, which made it even more tempting. Su Jiran stared at the enchanting Xing Jinyan, his gaze deep. He was thinking that Xing Jinyan looked quite similar to Baya, but their auras were completely different. Xing Jinyan looked like a fairy, fresh and refined. In reality, when she was overseas, everyone had sex with her. How messy was it? The word messy wasn't an exaggeration to describe her. Baya, on the other hand, looked calm and indifferent. Because of the wound in her heart, she was more cautious and guarded than ordinary people. She wouldn't easily accept someone who walked into her heart. Once someone walked into her heart, she would give everything she had, including her life. For example, Lu Shuang's existence with Baya was a case in point. For the past 3 years, he had given her a marriage in name only. He had fooled around outside, but she had been consistent. He didn't worry about her. Sometimes, he pitied her, but most of the time, he hated her. He hated that she had been raped. He had only planned the kidnapping, but she had lost her first time. He also hated that she was so beautiful, so cold, so arrogant, so decisive. If it wasn't for the hatred in his heart, would he have fallen in love with Baya? Jiran, I've filled the tub for you, Xing Jinyan said coquettishly. Su Jiran was frustrated. He stepped into the bathtub, and Xing Jinyan took the initiative to kiss him. The two of them were entangled in the bathroom. However, he wasn't in the zone. He didn't know why, but he felt a little bored. In the end, it was Xing Jinyan who said it. Xing Jinyan smiled seductively and looked at the top of the bathtub. There was a pinhole camera that she had placed in it. Baya would soon see the love between her and Su Jiran. She couldn't wait to show it to Baya. Anyway, Baya only dared to keep it, she wouldn't dare to put it online. Jiran, do you love me? Xing Jinyan wrapped her arms around the back of Su Jiran's neck. Of course. I love you too. Divorce Baiya, then we can be together openly, Xing Jinyan said with a smile. Su Jiran hugged Xing Jinyan's waist. He didn't say a word, but kissed her fiercely. Be good, I'm tired. Sleep with me for a while. In the middle of the night, Baiya woke up. When she woke up, the pillow was already wet. She dreamed of her childhood. This dream reminded her of when she was young. Ever since she was sensible, she had seen her mother wash her face with tears all day long. Her mother's mental state was very bad at that time, and she often hit her. After that, her mother got divorced and was chased out of the Xing family in despair. They lived in a rented place, and life became more and more difficult. One day, her mother put sleeping pills in the milk for her, and she fell asleep after drinking it. Her mother filled the bathtub with water, put her in the bathtub, and cut her wrists. Her mother also cut her wrists, and lay in the bathtub with her. Perhaps her mother still couldn't bear to let her go, she didn't cut deeply. She woke up and walked outside. But she didn't know where to go. Who should she look for? Without her mother, how was she going to live in the future? She went back to the bathtub and hugged her unconscious mother. After that, she didn't know who saved her. Her mother was locked up in a mental hospital, and she stayed in an orphanage for 10 years. After 10 years, her mother was released from the mental hospital. She brought her back and started to take care of her. She knew that her mother treated her well, but her mother was very bitter. She couldn't afford to go to university, and her mother knelt on the ground. Chapter 78. Her personality had always been cold. She didn't trust people easily and she didn't get close to people easily. Her heart was sometimes so hard that it was almost heartless. But when it was soft, it was also unusually soft. She could give up anything for the people she cared about. Her fate in this life was to meet Su Jiran, a person who destroyed her light. When she first met Su Jiran, he was very good to her. He gave her everything she wanted, helped her arrange a job and treated her mother's illness. At that time, she really felt that she was the happiest person in the world. She used to wonder how she could get Su Jiran's love. After all, apart from being young, beautiful and smart, she was poor and had a crazy mother. But when she first met love, she lost her mind and threw herself into it wholeheartedly. Until Su Jiran's lover kidnapped her. She also knew that it was Su Jiran who deliberately arranged it. She watched Su Jiran do it with his lover. She was in so much pain that she couldn't breathe. That feeling was worse than death. On that day of despair, she was raped. She forced Su Jiran to get married. Rather than saying that she was forced, perhaps Su Jiran had already prepared hell for her. She jumped into the hell as he wished. She didn't dare to believe in love. If there was no love, she wouldn't have been hurt so badly. Her mother and herself, weren't they examples? Xiao Bai, what's wrong? Lu Shuang heard Baiya's crying, pushed the door open and came in. Nothing, I just had a nightmare, Baiya said, sobbing. She didn't want Lu Shuang to worry, so she shrunk into the quilt. I'll stay with you. Lu Shuang lifted the quilt, lay behind Baiya and hugged Baiya. Baiya's tears broke the dam. She didn't have nothing, she still had friends. Lu Shuang could feel Baiya's body trembling. She was upset and her eyes reddened. Xiao Bai, I'm sorry. It's all my fault. Baiya shook his head and turned around to look at Lu Shuang. It's none of your business. I was just thinking about my past. It will be better in the future. After the divorce, you can be with Gu Lingqing, Lu Shuang comforted her. Lu Shuang, if you really care about me, don't matchmake me with Gu Lingqing, Baiya said seriously. Why? I feel that he is good in all aspects. If you marry him, your life will be much better. Lu Shuang said puzzledly. My mother was a beauty when she was young. She was very, very beautiful. In ancient poetry, a single glance could cause a city to fall in love with someone like my mother. She was an orphan, but she was very smart. When she was young, she became a nanny for a rich family and made the rich family's young master fall in love with her. She succeeded and became a mistress. However, as the rich family's young master's status got higher and higher, these became the obstacles between them. My mother loved the rich family's young master very much. The rich family's young master had his own dream. His dream was already a career. My mother was panicking. She had no status, no background, no connections. She could only use her own love to restrain herself. Once, twice, thrice. She won, but how many times could she win? The rich family's young master met a woman who was more suitable for him. That woman and the rich young master were from the same family. They had the same dream, revenge. More importantly, that woman had background and power. She could help the rich young master reach a higher level. So, in the end, the rich family's young master betrayed their love and became a cruel murderer, Baya said quietly with tears flowing down her face. People are different. I don't think Gu Lingqing is that kind of person, Lu Shuang expressed. I believe that the rich family's young master loved my mother. However, he wouldn't ignore his family's opposition and marry my mother. However, impulsive love can't make a lifelong life. Gu Lingqing and I are nothing. We've only known each other for more than a month. The faster the passion comes, the faster it disappears. I don't want a passionate love. I want a peaceful life. At least, I won't hurt my heart, Baya said rationally and sniffled. Lu Shuang was silent. She didn't know what to say. Baya had never said these things to Baya in the past. No one knew how many things Baya hid in her heart and how much pain she had digested alone. I know. No matter what decision you make, I will support it. From now on, I won't make decisions on my own. I'm sorry, Xiaobai, Lu Shuang said seriously. I will never blame you. I know you did it for me. Baya smiled. The pear blossoms on the tree were pale but beautiful. Lu Shuang took a deep breath. She felt that Xiaobai's analysis was right. She just thought that Gu Lingqing was good, but she didn't think so much about her background. Now she thought about it. The more glory she enjoyed, the more slander and hurt she had to go through. How many people would be able to withstand the damage? Overnight, she seemed to have grown a lot and learned a lot from Baya. When it was almost dawn, the rain finally stopped. Baya and Lu Shuang also fell asleep until Baya's alarm clock woke her up. She had a bad headache and a serious lack of sleep. But she still had to go to work. Baya turned off the alarm clock and looked at Lu Shuang, who was still sleeping soundly. She got up from the bed. She brushed her teeth, washed her face, went to the kitchen to cook porridge and fried 2 eggs. She also went out to buy 2 steamers of soup dumplings and went back. Lu Shuang also got up from the room and scratched his messy hair. What time is it? 7:30, just in time for breakfast. Let's go to work together after breakfast. Baya said with a smile. Her tone was very gentle, as if the pain of last night had not happened. Xiaobai, you are so nice. I love you so much. Don't get married for the rest of your life. Just be with me. Lu Shuang said with a smile. Go brush your teeth and hair. She put the soup dumplings on the table and went to the kitchen to get porridge. Her phone rang. She saw that it was Xing Jinyan and picked it up. Baya, I have done what you wanted. I have sent it to your email. Check and accept it. I hope you won't disappoint me and get a divorce soon. Xing Jinyan said proudly. Baya put the porridge on the table and turned on the computer. She saw the video that Xing Jinyan had sent. Xing Jinyan was more careful. Her face and the important parts of her body were mosaic. Su Jiran, on the other hand, was very clear, and so was his dialogue. 3 years ago, when she saw such a video and heard such dialogue, she would still feel sad and indignant. Now, she just felt relieved. She had completely given up on Su Jiran. She did not care at all, nor did she feel any heartache. Chapter 79. Baiya and Lu Shuang went to the hospital. As soon as they got out of the elevator, they heard the nurses gossiping. The deputy director of the sanitary bureau is such a scumbag. So, handsome men are not good. He uses his power and looks to fool around with women everywhere. It's really hateful, Nurse said. I heard that he was married in secret. How miserable would it be to be his wife? It's so stressful to wear a green hat, Nurse B said. I don't know what's wrong with the women nowadays. There was a celebrity on the internet who married a famous beauty. In the end, he had sex with many young models. He even said that he hunted Y. It's really disgusting. The key is that the female star still doesn't want a divorce. It's so infuriating, Nurse said. Hey, what are you talking about? Lu Shuang asked with a smile. Let's hear it. There's no such thing as too much gossip. Everyone, let's talk. Dr. Lu, you haven't gone online yet. It's very popular on the internet now. The deputy director of the sanitary bureau came to see the VIP pregnant woman. Maybe the pregnant woman's belly was also caused by him, Nurse said excitedly. What's wrong with him? I can't even sleep. I haven't even had time to go online. I seem to have missed out on a few 100 million. Lu Shuang did not go to the office. He pulled Baiya to listen together. What's the name of that scumbag? Su Jiran. Yes, that's the name. A lot of things about him have been exposed on the internet. He changes women every 2 or 3 days. He has changed more than 30 women in 3 years, Nurse gossiped. More than 30? Lu Shuang looked at Baiya in shock. Baiya was very calm. It was not a big deal. There was no change in her expression. Yes, I guess the Discipline Inspection Commission will be looking for him. A person like him has seriously violated the discipline. He will probably step down, Nurse said. Dr. Lu, you can go online to see. The comments on the internet are much more interesting than what we said. After all, we don't know this director Su, but a lot of people on the internet do. They even broke the news and that photo. You should go take a look, Nurse B said. Okay, I got it. Lu Shuang dragged Baiya away. Who dares to touch Su Jiran? I think it's Gu Lingqing. Do you believe me? As soon as Lu Shuang said that, he realized that he had said something wrong. She shouldn't have talked about Gu Lingqing in front of Baiya. She quickly looked at Baiya's face. Baiya had already calmed down. Lu Shuang followed Baiya to Baiya's office. She quickly turned on her phone to read the gossip. This Gu Lingqing is really awesome. He has thrown out so much evidence. I feel like we have done it in vain, Lu Shuang said excitedly. Realizing that she had said too much, she slapped herself and looked at Baiya apologetically. I'm sorry. It's okay, Baiya said softly. She sat on her seat and checked today's work schedule. With all the evidence exposed, you and Su Jiran will definitely divorce, right? Lu Shuang said expectantly. I don't know, but I think the possibility is quite high. I will negotiate with Su Jiran later. As soon as Baiya said that, her phone rang. She saw that it was Su Jiran's call. She knew that he would call her, so she answered. Is it Gu Lingqing who did the things on the internet? Su Jiran asked with a smile, as if these things didn't affect him much. I don't know, Baiya replied directly. Let's meet at noon. Hee, why do I feel that it's rare for you to take the initiative to meet him? Su Jiran teased. He walked to the health bureau and saw the military car. A malicious look appeared in his eyes. Do you want to meet him? Baiya asked back. I'll contact you later. Su Jiran hung up the phone and saw Lieutenant Colonel Shang getting out of the car, followed by 6 soldiers. Director Su, please get in the car, Lieutenant Colonel Shang said. His words were polite and his expression was professional. He didn't allow Su Jiran to refuse. Su Jiran raised the corner of his mouth, shrugged, and got in the car. He saw Gu Lingqing, who was as cold as silk, and gathered his clothes. "Tell me, Chief Gu, what do you want from me?" Gu Lingqing looked at him and examined Su Jiran. He squinted his eyes and said directly, "If you divorce Baiya, I can not only keep your position as the deputy director, but also make you the director." He, using a wife to exchange for an official position. "It seems that I made a profit by marrying Baiya," Su Jiran said with an evil smile. "You don't like her anyway, don't you?" Gu Lingqing said coldly and arrogantly. "But others like her. I have a bad habit. If others like something, even if I don't like it, I will take it for myself. I like it so that others can't get it. When I think about how they feel when they can't get it, I feel good," Su Jiran said in a strange tone. "As long as I say it, you will be completely finished. Do you believe me?" Gu Lingqing said coldly. "Of course I believe you. But I like challenging things. Just let me be finished. Let's see if I will also finish you. In addition, I don't need you to say anything. I am here to resign today." He. Su Jiran chuckled, pushed the door open, and walked out. Gu Lingqing frowned. He always felt that Su Jiran's identity was not as simple as it seemed. When Su Jiran came out of the health bureau, his phone rang. He saw the caller ID and got into his car. He smiled wickedly and asked, "Is everything arranged? Those people are at your disposal. In addition, I know something about Gu Lingqing. You should be very interested to hear it." Tell me. Don't keep me in suspense. I don't have much patience." Su Jiran started the car and drove out. "Let's talk when we meet." At noon, Baiya returned to the office after the surgery. She did not sleep well last night. She was resting on the table when her phone rang. She saw that it was Su Jiran and quickly picked it up. "See you in 10 minutes at the Blue Mountain Cafe near the hospital," Su Jiran said and hung up. Baiya quickly picked up her phone, grabbed her bag, and went out. Soon, she arrived at the Blue Mountain Cafe. She looked around and did not see Su Jiran, so she called him. "I'm here." "Where are you now?" Baiya looked around and asked. "The second private room on the second floor." "Come here." Su Jiran smiled. Baiya went to the second floor. The light in the private room was very dark. There was a candle on the table. The shape of the candle was made to look like a rose. On the other hand, elegant music was playing from the rose-shaped speaker on the wall. The atmosphere in the private room was very romantic, but it was not suitable for them. "Sit." Su Jiran nodded and glanced at the seat opposite him. Baiya sat down. She did not want to reminisce with him, so she said directly, "I have the video of you and Xing Jinyan having sex." Chapter 80. Baiya was very calm. There was no emotion in her clear eyes. She looked at Su Jiran indifferently. "My business has nothing to do with him. I don't like him, so don't mix my business with his." Su Jiran curled his lips and examined Baiya. "Are you protecting him? Or are you afraid of me? I'm really surprised that I'm so strong in your heart. I'm just being honest. You can't see a person clearly in 4 years, let alone 1 month." "I still know what I want," Baiya said rationally. "It's good that you can think that way. I'm warning you, don't fall in love with Gu Lingqing, because he won't fall in love with you. He loves someone else," Su Jiran said with certainty. Baiya looked at him with drooping eyes. There was no expression on her face, but there was some tiredness in her brows. "Let's talk about our business. Once I release this video, you're completely finished." "What's finished?" Su Jiran asked in return and took a sip of coffee elegantly. He was too calm and collected, so calm and collected that it was terrifying. "Your political future, isn't it? As a married man, you had that kind of relationship with another woman. Or, do you want to see the video before you give up?" Baya opened the video on her phone and passed it to him. Sujiran glanced at the video. It was half an hour long, and it was taken after he came out of the police station last night. There was a sharp glint in his eyes. You installed a pinhole camera in the bathroom. Baya looked down, her long eyelashes covering the glint in her eyes. The pinhole camera was installed by Xing Jinyan. However, she didn't want to ruin his relationship with Xing Jinyan, so she took the blame. Divorce, Sujiran. You know that the video you have about Lu Shuang is also about His Highness. Just like how you won't easily upload it online, I won't upload it either. I just want a peaceful life and won't affect your future, Baya said softly. Heh. Sujiran put the coffee cup on the table, and the coffee in the cup almost spilled out. Didn't Gu Lingqing tell you? I quit. Do you think I'm afraid of your videos? Baya was stunned and said in shock, You resigned? Sujiran tapped the table lightly. Is it strange that I don't even look up to the deputy director of the health bureau? Baya suddenly felt as if he had been splashed with cold water from head to toe. She saw that she was about to be freed and had put in a lot of effort, but in the end, she was just a clown in front of Sujiran. He felt wronged because he had already done his best. Tears quietly flowed from her eyes, but they were terrifyingly empty. Sujiran, if there is a next life, I don't want to know you again, and I don't want to fall in love with you. Baya put away his phone and stood up. Stop. Sujiran shouted, frowning at her. Her tears seemed to touch the softest chord in his heart. Why are you crying? Sujiran asked confusedly. Baya smiled. She shouldn't cry. What's the use of crying? It can't solve any problems. People like you won't understand the life of people like us. I don't think I owe you anything. If you think it's not enough, I'll use my life to pay for it. At least, I can get the freedom of my soul, Baya said coldly and walked towards the door. Sujiran held her arm, and his eyes narrowed. He looked at her pale face. What do you mean? Baya took a deep breath and looked at Sujiran. He was good-looking, but he had the heart of a devil. I feel so tired. Maybe it's because I did too many wrong things in my previous life, so I'm destined to not be happy in this life. I don't need you to remember me, but you'll always owe me. In your next life, you won't have a good life either. Baya shook off Sujiran's hand. He held it tightly and didn't let go. Baya was numb from the pain. She looked at him coldly. Why do you have to divorce me? I can give you a comfortable life and enough money. Isn't that enough? Even the identity of Mrs. Su is yours. You've gotten more than Xing Jinyan. Do you want to die? Sujiran didn't understand. The money I need isn't given by others, but earned by myself. I use it with a clear conscience. The marriage I want is loyalty. I want comfort and peace of mind. When I go home, I feel warmth, not desolation. Baya smiled. People like you won't understand. You won't even love. Then will you? You keep saying that you love me, but you're with Gu Lingqing. Is that your love? Sujiran tore apart his usual elegance. He was finally angry and revealed his true emotions. If I didn't love you, why would I be so sad? Every time I saw you with another woman, every knife cut into my heart. My heart used to only have your name, Sujiran, on it, but you cut it all off, turning me into a person who doesn't know how to love. What do you think? Do you think I'll still love someone now? No, I don't even know the meaning of living now. Baya was also very emotional. The veins on her neck were all popping. Even she felt that she looked very ferocious. Sujiran looked at Baya blankly. The women I'm with are willing to share me with other women. They won't be angry or sad. They're like sisters. Baya really didn't want to say anything more. Sujiran would never understand how he hurt her. Maybe she shouldn't have given her feelings. She turned her face away. She thought that she wouldn't cry, but when her psychological defense was broken, she couldn't control her tears. She cried all the tears that she had been suppressing for the past 3 years. Go find other women. Baya wanted to laugh, but she couldn't. She shouldn't blame Su Jiran. She should blame herself. It was she who fell in love with him. All he wanted was to play in the world. She wanted to keep her dignity at the last moment. Su Jiran stared at Baya. There was a faint pain in his heart. He didn't want Baya to die. Divorce. I agree to divorce, Su Jiran said in a low voice. Baya looked at Su Jiran in surprise. Her eyes were red and swollen. She couldn't believe that he actually agreed to divorce. But I have a request. You must see me twice a week. Each time, it's not less than 3 hours. But don't worry, if you're not willing, I won't touch you. There are a lot of women who are willing to let me touch them. I don't have the patience to deal with you. But when I call you, you must come to the place I specify, Su Jiran said in a low voice. He didn't know why he made such a strange request. Maybe he was worried that he would never see her again. In this way, he could still see her twice a week. Chapter 81. Baya looked at Su Jiran in disbelief. You're really willing to get a divorce? I have to be on call, Su Jiran added. What if I'm at work? Baya still found it hard to believe. He had agreed to the divorce so suddenly, and she hadn't even succeeded in threatening him yet. I'll look for you when you're not at work, Su Jiran said in a low voice. How long do you want it to last? Baya asked immediately. You don't have the right to negotiate with me until I'm tired of it. Of course, you can also choose not to get a divorce. Su Jiran's lips curled up, but his eyes were desolate. You'd better agree, because I don't really want a divorce now. Yes, I agree. I'll go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to get a divorce now. I can leave with nothing. I have the household register with me. Baya agreed immediately. Su Jiran felt an indescribable sense of loss in his heart. He walked in front. Baya seemed to be afraid that he would regret it, so she followed behind him. Su Jiran went back to the villa to get the household register and the marriage certificate. It was eerily quiet in the car. The closer they got to the Civil Affairs Bureau, the more he realized that he didn't want a divorce. After they divorced, she would marry another man, become another man's wife, cook for other men, and give birth to other men's children. The more he thought about it, the more uncomfortable he felt. You won't get married immediately after the divorce, will you? Su Jiran asked coldly. No, Baya said with certainty. Su Jiran looked at Baya. She was gentle and quiet. The sunlight fell on the side of her face. Her beautiful appearance made his heart throb and ripple after ripple. Actually, Baya was very beautiful. That was why he had decided to marry her instead of Xing Jinyan the first time he saw her. He just didn't expect that she was worthless in Xing Bachuan's heart. What if I say that I won't play with women in the future? Do you still want to divorce me? Su Jiran asked. As soon as he asked, he felt annoyed. If that was the case, it would make him seem a little petty. He had always been arrogant and conceited. Just kidding, Su Jiran added. After saying this, he regretted it even more. Maybe Baya would agree not to divorce. He had blocked all his avenues. After a while, they arrived at the Civil Affairs Bureau. He followed Baya up the stairs, feeling an inexplicable panic in his heart. In the end, he wanted to show his good side. You don't have to leave with nothing. I'll transfer the ownership of the house you're living in to you. I'll give you another $1 million. You can live a better life. No need. You didn't steal your money. You picked it up from the ground. Baya refused. Su Jiran locked his eyes on Baya. He hoped that at this time, Baya would ask him for an exorbitant price. That way, he would feel better. She could also destroy his noble and elegant image in her mind. However, she didn't. She didn't want anything, not even the compensation for the loss of her youth. You're so stubborn. For you, there's no benefit at all. Just take it if I give it to you, right? Soo-jiran quickly walked to her side. Baya smiled. We always look at problems with our own eyes, but we never know what others want. Thank you for your kindness, Mr. Soo, but I really don't need it. Mr. Soo's distant way of addressing him made him feel really uncomfortable. Soo-jiran handed the marriage certificate to the window. He wanted to be very straightforward and indifferent. He said, "We want a divorce. Do you have a divorce agreement?" "No, I want to leave with nothing," Baya said softly. The staff looked at Baya strangely, and then looked at Soo-jiran. Baya looked very clean. She didn't have any makeup on. She looked soft, but her eyes were a little red and swollen, but her expression was calm. As for Soo-jiran, he looked like a naughty ruffian. He frowned and felt a little annoyed. He looked at the marriage certificate, and there was a part of his heart that was twisted so tightly that it hurt. He didn't want a divorce. He didn't want a divorce. He didn't want a divorce. His heart and mind kept repeating this thought strongly, but his body seemed to be resisting it. He couldn't move. The staff handed over a few forms and reminded, "Sign on the form. Think carefully before you sign it. Once you've signed it, you'll get the divorce certificate in half an hour. You'll have nothing to do with each other anymore." Baya got the form and wrote her name on it without hesitation. Soo-jiran saw that she signed it so quickly. He had a strange feeling in his heart. He also wrote his name on the form. Baya handed the form to the staff. Soo-jiran hesitated for a moment. "Are you handing it over or not?" the staff asked Soo-jiran. His mind was blank. Without thinking, he handed over the form. He saw the staff stamp on the list. Bang, 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 bang. Each sound fell on his heart. He and Baya really had nothing to do with each other anymore. "Do you want to go for a drink? It'll take some time to get the divorce certificate anyway," Soo-jiran said to Baya softly. Baya shook her head. "Pay before you go for tea," the staff said. "Okay. How much do you want?" Baya said and took out her wallet from her bag. "I'll pay for it," Soo-jiran said. He took out his black card from his wallet and handed it to the staff. The staff rolled his eyes at Soo-jiran. 10 yuan. Baya handed the 10 yuan to the staff. Soo-jiran felt uncomfortable in his heart. Only then did he remember that he was very generous to the women outside. He bought bags, luxury cars, villas, jewelry, and accessories, but he had never bought anything expensive for Baya. The most expensive thing was probably the rose that he had thrown into the trash. Oh yes, he had bought her a dress, a pair of shoes, and a pair of earrings. They were not worth much. Would Baya wear them in the future? "The invalid marriage certificate and divorce certificate are here," the staff said. Soo-jiran came back to his senses. He looked at the divorce certificate and felt uncomfortable in his heart. It's so cheap to get a divorce. No wonder so many people get divorced. It should be more expensive. The staff was too lazy to care about him. Baya looked at the divorce certificate and felt like she was dreaming. She was finally divorced. She was finally free. She put the marriage certificate and the divorce certificate in her bag and walked out. Soo-jiran wanted to stop her, but the words were stuck in his throat. He threw the invalid marriage certificate and the divorce certificate into the trash can and walked out. In the car, he smoked a few cigarettes. He remembered the first time he met Baya. She was still a student. When she walked out of the school gate, she was wearing a sky blue dress. She was beautiful, and every step she took was like a lotus. However, she had a sense of alienation and innate pride. Because of this pride, he chose her. Half an hour later, Soo-jiran picked up the invalid marriage certificate from the trash can and opened it. In the photo, Baya frowned slightly and pursed her lips. However, her eyes were clear and full of hope. She was lovely and charming. Every facial feature was so beautiful, but he lost her. Chapter 82. When Baya returned to the hospital, Lu Shuang was in her office. When he saw Baya come back, he ran over worriedly. How did it go? Was Su Jiran scared? Baya smiled. He divorced me. Really? Lu Shuang was very surprised. His eyes were sparkling. Baya nodded. It's true. We went to the Civil Affairs Bureau in the afternoon to get the divorce certificate. From now on, I'm free. That's great, that's great. Lu Shuang held Baya's arm and jumped up happily. Baya was happy too. She pursed her lips and smiled. Let's go out to celebrate today. We'll celebrate you being single again, Lu Shuang said happily. Not today. I want to go back and have a good sleep. Baya yawned. Yes, go back and have a good sleep. I'll leave the celebration for the weekend. I have an operation in the afternoon, so I'll go back first. Okay, I'll lie down for a while. I have an operation at 16 p.m. too, Baya said. Maybe it was because she had cried for a long time, or maybe it was because she did not have a good rest. Her eyes were a little sore. Lu Shuang playfully made an okay gesture and went out. She thought about it and wanted to tell Gu Lingqing the good news. But she was also a little hesitant. Should she tell him or not? Lu Shuang held the coin and said to herself, if it's the side with numbers, I'll tell him. If it's the side without numbers, I won't tell him. She threw it with her eyes closed. The coin landed with a crisp sound. She opened her eyes and watched the coin roll. It rolled under the table. Lu Shuang was speechless. She moved the table away and found a few coins under the table. Lu Shuang was speechless. When did she drop so many coins under the table? Forget it. Even if she didn't say it, Gu Lingqing would know. Why not do Gu Lingqing a favor? It was decided happily. She called Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing answered the call. Well, Baya and Su Jiran divorced. She got the divorce certificate, but don't look for her today. She didn't sleep last night. Also, don't tell anyone that I told her, Lu Shuang said. Gu Lingqing raised the corner of his mouth. Lieutenant Colonel Shang heaved a sigh of relief when he saw the bureau chief smile. When the bureau chief was unhappy, the people around him would most likely suffer. I understand. Thank you. Gu Lingqing's tone softened a lot. However, Baya has her own thoughts. She's stubborn, so take your time. There's no rush. I'll keep an eye on her for you. If a love rival appears, I'll inform you immediately. Come on, Lu Shuang cheered him on. Yes, Gu Lingqing replied. As soon as Baya got off work, her phone rang. She saw that it was Su Jiran. She hesitated for a while before picking up. What's wrong? Baya asked uncertainly. They were divorced now. She was a little worried. It wasn't a good thing. Didn't you say that you'll give me 2 days a week and 3 hours a day? You're off work now. I'm still at the Blue Mountain Coffee near your hospital. The previous private room. Come over, or I'll pick you up, Su Jiran said lightly. Baya really didn't understand Su Jiran. He suddenly agreed to the divorce. In the past, she wouldn't be able to see him even once a month. After the divorce, she saw him more often. I'll come over myself, Baya said, not understanding. She went to the Blue Mountain Coffee and went into the original private room. There was only Su Jiran in there. He was playing with his phone. Baya sat opposite him. What do you want to drink? Su Jiran asked. Baya shook her head. I haven't rested well for a few days. I'm a little sleepy. I don't want to drink anything. Then sleep for a while. Su Jiran nodded and glanced at the sofa. Baya frowned and looked at him defensively. Su Jiran smiled and tapped his fingers on the table lazily. He said confidently, "If I want to do anything to you, you won't be able to resist even if you're awake." "I said I won't touch you, so I won't touch you." Baya thought about it and realized that he was right. She really couldn't open her eyes. Anyway, she had to wait for 3 hours. Instead of looking at him awake, she might as well sleep quietly. She lay on the sofa and closed her eyes. She was too tired and fell asleep after a while. Su Jiran looked at her faint figure. He took off his suit and covered her body. He started to deal with official business. "Mr. Su, the Gu family is also competing for the land at Qingshui Wharf. They want to connect Qingshui Wharf and Blue Sky Bay." Su Jiran curled his lips and typed. "Then we'll fight for the land. He wants it, but I won't give it to him." "Okay, I'll bid for it then. I'll give you the price later." Su Jiran typed. He texted Xing Jinyan. "See you at my house in 3 hours. I have a gift for you. Moi." Xing Jinyan quickly sent a message over. Su Jiran's eyes remained cold. He sent another message. "Wrap my divorce certificate with a diamond necklace. The kind that costs around 10,000. Okay." Su Jiran looked at Baya. She slept very soundly, her breathing was very light and quiet. She was beautiful in her sleep. She looked prettier without any makeup. He picked up his phone and took a few photos. He chose one and used it as his screensaver. His eyes paused for a moment before he deleted it. Baya's phone rang. He furrowed his brows and took out Baya's phone. It was Lu Shuang's. He pressed the volume button and sent a message. "What's up? Little Bai, didn't you say you're back to sleep? I see you're not at home." Lu Shuang was puzzled. "I'll be back later." Su Jiran replied on behalf of Baya. He put Baya's phone on silent mode and put it in her bag. Baya woke up. She remembered that she was still in the private room. She sat up and saw that Su Jiran was still sitting opposite her. "What time is it now?" Su Jiran bent his arm and looked at the time, 10:05. "You've slept for almost 5 hours. Then I'll go back." Baya put his clothes aside and stood up. Su Jiran handed her a box. "Take it." "What?" Baya glanced at the box. She did not want to take it. "I owe you a jade bracelet from last time. I was going to give it to you, but my mum took a liking to it. This one is better than the one from before, so take it." Su Jiran said casually, a devilish smile on his face. Baya was wary of Su Jiran, who exuded masculine hormones. Men gave women clothes so that they could easily take them off. Men gave women jewelry so that they could bind their fragile hearts. The more valuable it was, the heavier the shackles would be. "No need. I don't need it." She walked towards the door. Su Jiran frowned. The more she did not want it, the more he wanted to give it to her. He took out the jade bracelet, held Baya's hand and put it on. He put it on and left. She took off the jade bracelet and put it in the jewelry box. Chapter 83. Baya chased after Su Jiran. He drove away. She chased after him. Su Jiran went back to his villa. From afar, Baya saw Xing Jinyan standing at Su Jiran's door. She saw Su Jiran coming back and went up to him. Su Jiran lowered his head and kissed Xing Jinyan's lips. 15 seconds later, he hugged Xing Jinyan and returned to the room. Baya's eyes drooped as clear spring water flowed in them. It was not appropriate for her to return the jewelry to Su Jiran now. This was more like a demonstration to Xing Jinyan. To her, all she wanted was a peaceful and quiet life. "Pretty lady, are you getting off the car?" The taxi driver looked at Baya strangely and asked. "It's okay. Let's go back. I'll give you the address," Baya said calmly. "Hey pretty lady, Are you here to catch me in the act? Look on the bright side. Which rich man isn't a playboy? As long as you can secure your position as the legal wife, it's fine as long as you don't fall, the taxi driver teased. Baya did not say anything. She looked outside. The sky was very dark. There was no moonlight at all. Perhaps it was because it was going to rain soon, so it was gloomy. An hour later, Baya got off the taxi and saw Gu Lingqing. He did not go up. Instead, he opened the window and looked at the window of her room. He held a cigarette between his slender fingers. The light from the cigarette butt flickered on and off, illuminating his pitch-black eyes, flickering on and off. Baya did not know what to say to him. Perhaps he noticed her gaze and looked at her. A glimmer flashed across his eyes. He put out the cigarette, opened the car door, and stepped out of the car. Where did you go? I called you but you didn't answer. I sent you a message but you didn't reply either, Gu Lingqing said. You called me? I didn't hear it. Baya took out her phone from her bag and saw Gu Lingqing's name on the screen. There were also 2 messages. One of the messages read, "Where are you?" The second message read, "I'm coming to get my Russian book." That was 4 hours ago. Baya felt guilty and said apologetically, "Have you been waiting here for a long time? Why don't you go up and sit?" I sent a message to Lu Shuang. She said that you weren't at home and that she would call me when you came back. She didn't call me, so I waited here, Gu Lingqing explained. Baya lowered her eyes and turned around. Come with me then. I'll return the Russian book to you. Gu Lingqing looked at her indifferently. His heart felt like it was shrouded in a misty rain. It was wet and uncomfortable. I heard that you're divorced. Gu Lingqing glanced at her and asked gently. Okay. Baya pressed the button for the elevator and stood there quietly. Gu Lingqing held her hand. She pulled her hand out of his palm. What's wrong? Gu Lingqing asked in confusion. Baya didn't know what was wrong with her either. Her rationality had clearly told her not to have anything to do with Gu Lingqing, but her heart was moving closer to him. Have you eaten? Baya looked up and asked him, changing the topic. Gu Lingqing frowned slightly. Not yet. I haven't eaten either. There should be some ingredients in the fridge. I'll make you something to eat, Baya said gently. Gu Lingqing looked at her coldly. She was standing very close to him, but he felt that she was very far away. He couldn't figure her out. The elevator arrived with a ding. Gu Lingqing walked in first. Baya also walked in with her head lowered. She stood at the edge of the elevator, keeping a safe distance from him. Gu Lingqing's expression turned cold as he watched the elevator go up floor by floor. He held her arm and pulled her to his side. His hand gently wrapped around her waist. The temperature of his palm was very high, and it passed through her clothes to her skin. Baya's back was stiff as she looked straight ahead. I've sent the documents issued by the military to your hospital. I'm asking you to submit the application form in 3 days. I specifically asked for you, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya didn't say anything. She frowned slightly. In fact, she didn't really want to go. Gu Lingqing waited for a while, but she didn't answer. He looked at her and said, I can protect you in the military. You don't have to worry or be afraid in the future. Can I come out normally in the military? Baya asked. You just need to apply for it. You're a doctor, so you'll get special treatment. But sometimes you'll have to work overtime. The soldiers have sudden training at night, so there are more unexpected situations, Gu Lingqing explained. Can I not go? Baya asked softly. No. Gu Lingqing was very decisive. He saw that she was unwilling and seemed to have a lot on her mind. Most importantly, she refused to say anything. Am I so unworthy of your trust? Gu Lingqing said coldly. Of course not. Is that so? Gu Lingqing asked in return. With a ding, the elevator door opened. He pulled her out and pressed her against the wall. He leaned over and kissed her soft lips forcefully. Baya was shocked and pushed his shoulders. Her strength was as light as a feather to him. He kissed her even more deeply and didn't let her reject him. In fact, when he saw her just now, he seemed to have done so. Baya knew that she couldn't reject him. She was no longer an innocent little girl. She had done everything with Gu Lingqing. If she rejected him now, it would seem unreasonable. She didn't push him again, but she didn't respond either. He only let go of her when she was panting from his kiss. I don't know what's going on in your mind. Since you've already divorced Su Jiran, you should consider our relationship carefully. I'm not young anymore. It's time for me to get married. What do you think? Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. His body was pressed tightly against her, and his breath landed on her face. He was usually overbearing and arrogant. Gu Lingqing, I've just gotten divorced. Do you think it's appropriate for you to get married now? Moreover, your parents know my identity. Baya reminded him. They can choose not to accept it, but they don't have the ability to object. No one can stop me from doing what I want to do. Alright, let's end this matter here. Let's go in. Gu Lingqing stopped before going too far and nipped all her objections in the bud. Baya realized that she really couldn't defend herself when facing him. She opened the door. Lu Shuang saw that Baya had returned. Gu Lingqing was behind Baya. She immediately picked up her bag and said tactfully, Baya, it's good that you're back. I've invited my friends to play mahjong all night. I won't be back tonight. Lu Shuang, Baya shouted. She didn't want Lu Shuang to leave. Chapter 84. Baya was helpless. She walked to the fridge, opened it, and glanced at the ingredients inside. It was a little. Why don't we cook it? Hurry up. Baya took out instant noodles, ham, lettuce, eggs, and tomatoes from the fridge. Gu Lingqing followed her to the kitchen, took the lettuce, and began to wash it. Baya looked at Gu Lingqing with a very rational gaze. If Gu Lingqing wasn't the chief, his father wasn't the high and mighty deputy commander, and his mother wasn't the boss of one of the world's top 100 companies, they were just ordinary people who met each other through blind dates, had a smooth start, and after 2 years of dating, and then entered into marriage, maybe he really was an ordinary man. Chang Chang was a suitable husband candidate. Baya put water in the pot, turned on the fire, and prepared to wash the tomatoes. Gu Lingqing took the tomatoes and washed them. I will be very busy from tomorrow onwards, and may not appear for a period of time. You can handle the military application first. If there is any urgent matter that needs to be solved, call Lieutenant Colonel Shang. I will tell him, and he will deal with it, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. He didn't look at her, and he washed the tomatoes seriously. Okay. Baya responded, opened the oil pot again, and prepared to cook scrambled eggs with tomatoes. Gu Lingqing took her spatula, broke the eggs into the pot, and began to stir fry. You know how to cook. Baya saw that his movements were very skilled, and was quite surprised. With his identity and background, there was no shortage of nannies at home, and now there were orderlies taking care of him, so he didn't look like someone who could enter the kitchen. I used to be the class monitor, and I won the second prize when we competed in culinary skills. Gu Lingqing put the sliced tomatoes into the eggs, added salt and sugar, and simmered it slowly. I thought you would have an important position after you entered, after all, your father's position is there. Baya was honest. Changhao and I both entered the special military region for training. Gu Lingqing's eyes dimmed, as if he was hiding some great pain, and then he said lightly, later, Changhao was admitted to the Air Force University, and now he is the leader there. Are you all free range? Baya asked casually. Although we're supposed to raise them freely, our subordinates all know about our identities and backgrounds. Naturally, we'll improve quickly. You don't need to say it out loud. If we have a baby, I'll probably take care of it, Gu Lingqing said softly. Baiya's face was slightly red. She didn't dare to look at him. The water is boiling. She opened the plastic bag and put the instant noodles inside. Then she put the lettuce and sausages inside. Lu Shuang said that he won't come tonight. Do you need me to stay here tonight? Gu Lingqing suddenly said. Baiya was shocked. His finger touched the edge of the pot and was scalded. She withdrew her hand. Gu Lingqing's heart ached for her. She held her hand under the tap and rinsed it with water. Sometimes you seem very rational, but sometimes I feel that you're actually quite reckless. You can't even take care of yourself. I think you'd better not do anything and just sit and wait for the food. Gu Lingqing's words warmed her heart. She even had an urge to be with him. There was a voice in her heart that told her to give it a try. Anyway, she didn't want to fall in love again, and she didn't want to get married again. The worst result was that they wouldn't be together. She was divorced now. It wouldn't affect him badly, right? But, what if Gu Lingqing was just impulsive? When he didn't love her anymore, she had already lost her heart. What should she do then? Her mother's tragedy was right in front of her. And she was too boring, too cold, too boring. She was afraid that he would get tired of her soon. It seems to be ready. You can eat now. Baiya withdrew her hand. Let me do it. Gu Lingqing said. He divided the noodles into 2 halves and put them into a big bowl. Then, he put the cooked tomatoes and eggs into 2 bowls. He took the bowls out. Baiya took a pair of chopsticks and handed him a pair. Gu Lingqing lowered his head and sucked the noodles. Baiya unconsciously looked at him. She really didn't expect that she would be with Gu Lingqing. She still remembered the first time she met him. He was cold, distant, resolute, and had an aura that kept people away. He was very cold, making people feel like they were looking up at a god. It was not easy to get close to him. Gu Lingqing looked at her and met her eyes. Baiya paused. Since her eyes were caught, it would seem deliberate if she looked away. Why are you looking at me? Aren't you going to eat? Gu Lingqing asked. I think it's a little too much. I want to ask you if it's enough. Baiya found an excuse. Eat first. If you can't finish it, give it to me, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baiya realized that he would eat the leftovers. Ripples appeared in her heart. She lowered her head and ate the noodles. After he finished eating, he leaned back on the chair and picked up his phone to send a message back to give instructions for tonight's work. Baiya was also embarrassed to let him eat the leftovers, so she ate all the noodles. He was still busy working. She went to the kitchen to wash the dishes. She just put the dishes into the cupboard. He hugged her waist from behind. His strong and powerful arms were like iron pincers, bringing with it an explosive sense of power. Baiya straightened her back. He kissed her on the cheek. She was so nervous that she couldn't say a word. The window reflected their shadows, entangled together. Do you want to do it here or in the room? Gu Lingqing asked in a low voice, as if he was suppressing some kind of emotion. She realized that he meant it that way. She didn't want to think of the things they did in this kitchen every time she cooked. Room. After saying that, she wanted to bite off her tongue. She fell into his trap. Is there a third choice? Baiya asked awkwardly. Yes, the sofa, Gu Lingqing answered her. He carried her up and walked to her room. Her room was very clean. The quilt was neatly folded, and the books on the bedside table were also neatly placed. He put her on the bed, put a pillow under her butt, and slowly moved closer to her. Baiya let out a breath nervously. She regretted giving it to him so impulsively. After the first time, the second time, and the third time were all reasonable. If she rejected it again, it would seem unreasonable. Moreover, when a mature man and woman reached a certain age, it was easier to ignite not their feelings, but their bodies. He kissed her, slowly moving to her neck, unbuttoning her shirt, and his large palm moved up her slender waist. At this moment, Gu Lingqing was like a volcano. Wherever he went, he could melt all living things. Baya only felt hot, and her little nose was densely covered in sweat. His masculinity, strength, and clear feeling strolled into all her senses. Baya didn't dare to make a loud sound. It was as if there was something in her that she couldn't control. In the end, he lowered his head and kissed her on the lips. He didn't take a shower, and she didn't move either. She closed her eyes and rested. He hugged her waist from behind and pulled her into his arms. With a sexiness that didn't disappear, he said in a low voice, "I don't want to leave tonight." Chapter 85. In the morning, when Baya woke up, Gu Lingqing was no longer by her side. She saw that there was a note on the table. "I have something to attend to in the military. I have to leave first. Breakfast is on the table. If it's cold, heat it up before eating." Baya looked at the note left by Gu Lingqing and smiled. His handwriting was strong, which matched his tough image. His handwriting was also beautiful. He didn't hide his sharpness, and it was very powerful. She stuffed the note into the Russian book. Perhaps she was very far away from Gu Lingqing now, but she was making progress every time. Learning from him, understanding what he knew, and loving what he loved. Perhaps, they would have more topics to talk about, and she would be able to spend more time by his side. Baya got up, brushed her teeth and washed her face. When she walked out of the room, she saw the xiaolongbao, tofu soup, shumai, and youtiao that Gu Lingqing had placed on the table. She took a sip of the tofu soup. It was still warm. There was a knock on the door. Baya walked to the door and opened it suspiciously. Xiong Dani swung her hand and slapped Baya's face. B*tch, did you make Jiran resign? Xiong Dani said angrily. Baya's eyes shone sharply. She didn't think that Xiong Dani had the right to hit her and scold her. Su Jiran resigned because he deserved it. They had hurt her far more than she had hurt them. Baya slapped Xiong Dani on the face. B*tch, who are you calling? B*tch, I'm calling you. Xiong Dani blurted out. Baya smirked. Sorry, my family doesn't welcome you. Xiong Dani realized that she had been tricked by Baya. She said sarcastically, you thought you could hook up with Gu Lingqing, so you forced my Jiaran to divorce you. Let me tell you, it's impossible. Gu Lingqing has already agreed to marry Xiaoling. They will be engaged very soon. Baya paused. Gu Lingqing was still at her place last night and bought her breakfast in the morning. How could he be engaged to Su Xiaoling? If there's nothing else, I'm going to eat breakfast. I won't see you out. Baya went to close the door. Xiong Dani pressed on the door and said disdainfully, do you really think that Gu Lingqing likes you? He just sees that you're lonely and pitiful, so he wants to play with you. Anyway, you're a cheap slut who doesn't want money, and you're somewhat good-looking. Are you saying that you won't be cheap if you ask for money? I don't agree with your values. Also, when you belittle and slander others, you're actually destroying your character, Baya said bluntly. What a glib tongue. Let me tell you, Baya, you'll still have a chance to cry in the future. I can make you cry today. Do you believe me? Xiong Dani threatened. You want me to cry and beg for mercy? Will you change your decision? Baya asked in return. She chuckled as if she had already seen through it. Since it's impossible, why should I beg for mercy? You're going to make me cry anyway. You hurt my son, so I've decided that I won't let you off easily, Xiong Dani said arrogantly. You only saw me hurting your son. Did you see your son hurting me? What's being exposed on the internet is the truth. We're both women. If it was your husband who did those things, what would you think? Baya squinted her eyes and said coldly. Xiong Dani crossed her arms in front of her chest and said sarcastically, that's why I said you're incompetent. You can't control a man and yet you still want to vent your anger on him. Baya, don't you think you're shameless? If you don't look for your own reasons, where do you get the cheek to blame a man for not wanting you? Baya sneered. According to what you said, Su Jiran can't control me because he's incompetent. Where do you get the cheek to question me? How can it be the same? Men are flirtatious when it comes to women. Women are sluts when it comes to men. Xiong Dani roared angrily. Then I'm really sorry. Male supremacy isn't my view of life. If you want to make me cry, go ahead. I just despise you, Baya said and slammed the door. She went to eat breakfast, but she could not eat. Some people clearly told themselves not to care about it and not to be angry. It was not worth it to be angry. However, she was still angry. Baya's phone rang. She saw that it was a call from a stranger and turned it off. The phone rang again. It was the same string of numbers. Baya took a deep breath and answered the call. Baya, I'm Su Shaoling. Su Shaoling seemed to be in a good mood as she said with a smile. I don't think there's a need for us to contact each other. Brother Lingqing has already agreed to marry me. When the wedding date is set, I'll send you an invitation, hee. Su Shaoling said to herself. Baya hung up the phone immediately. She went to work without eating anything. She felt uneasy the whole morning. Although she believed in Gu Lingqing, the story of 3 people turning into a tiger always made people anxious. Lu Shuang pushed the door open and came in with dark circles under his eyes. He smiled ambiguously. How did it go between you and Gu Lingqing yesterday? You're the one who told Gu Lingqing that I'm divorced again, right? Baya asked helplessly. She only had one friend, and it was a bad friend of a dumbass. He, Gu Lingqing is so powerful. How can he not know about your divorce? Lu Shuang said ambiguously. The relationship between me and Su Jiran is not over yet. Baya sighed. She was still under the control of others. Lu Shuang's video was in Su Jiran's hands. If he asked her to go, she had to go. She still had to get the video back to be at ease. By the way, I'm here to tell you that the military has sent a document to my father. It said that someone is applying to be a doctor in the special military region, and they specifically asked for you. Gu Lingqing is really manly. All the female doctors except me are envious of him. Lu Shuang said with a smile. There's nothing to be envious of. We don't know whether it's a blessing or a curse, Baya said rationally. Lu Shuang put his hand on Baya's shoulder. What are you afraid of? I'm here. Baya looked at Lu Shuang in surprise. There are 2 places. My father is the director of the hospital. Plus, I have a special relationship with you, so I'll definitely take advantage of them. Most of them are brave men, and there are many military officers. My father agreed without hesitation in order to promote me. Sister, I'm a good friend, right? Knowing that Lu Shuang was going, Baya felt more at ease. She didn't feel so lonely anymore. So, it was worth her sacrifice for this sister. Thank you, Shuang Miao, Baya said with sincerity. There's no need to thank me. I've analyzed it carefully. First of all, I'm going there to find my ideal partner. Second of all, being a doctor in the special military region is equivalent to being a minor official. I can take the test for a professional title, and the salary is high and the power is great. Third of all, it's an idle job. Most of the time is free. I'm so busy working here. I'll definitely go there. Chapter 86. When Baya was about to get off work, Su Jiran called. She felt annoyed and asked coldly, "What's the matter?" "Meet me at the main entrance after work." "I'm already there." Su Jiran seemed to be in a good mood. "If we meet today, we'll have met twice this week. Tomorrow is Saturday and Sunday. You won't call me anymore, right?" Baya wanted to confirm. "Heh." Su Jiran chuckled. "Don't worry. I mean what I say. I'll be out in a while. Baya frowned and said. She threw her phone into her bag and left. Lu Shuang walked over. Where are you going? Aren't you going back with me? I have something to deal with. I'll be home in 3 hours. Baya explained. She stepped out of the car and saw Su Jiran standing beside the car. He was wearing a pair of sunglasses and a golden suit. He was extremely handsome, especially with the rose in his hand. He held it out to her and smiled confidently. This is for you. Baya didn't want to talk nonsense with him. She took the rose from his hand and threw it into the dustbin. Where are you going? She looked at her phone and started to count down. Su Jiran looked at her arrogant look and opened the car door. Get in. Baya sat in the front passenger seat and put on her safety helmet. She took out the jewelry box from her bag and threw it into his storage box. Weren't you very handsome when you threw the rose? If you don't want the jewelry, you can throw it away too. Su Jiran looked ahead and said. If you want me to pay for the lost flower, I can still afford it. But if you want me to pay for the jewelry, I can't afford it. Baya leaned on the seat and looked ahead indifferently. Baya, you're good at everything except that you're too stubborn. You don't know how to judge the situation. You'll regret your current attitude in the future. Su Jiran looked at Baya and said meaningfully. Then you can say that later. She didn't even look at Su Jiran. Gu Lingqing should have told you, right? Su Jiran suddenly asked. What did you say? Baya glanced at him. The date of his engagement with Su Shaoling has already been set. It will be on the 9th of next month. According to Xiaoling's temper, she should have sent you an invitation. Baya looked at Su Jiran in disbelief. Are you guys joking? Su Jiran smiled and turned on the music in the car. From what you're saying, Gu Lingqing didn't tell you. If he didn't say it himself, I wouldn't believe him. You don't have to try so hard to sow discord between us, Baya said decisively. Su Jiran frowned. Why didn't you trust me that much before? Isn't it correct that I don't trust you? Baya said sarcastically. Su Jiran smiled. At least, I didn't lie to you about your feelings and I didn't hide it. If I didn't want you to know, do you think you could easily find out where I am? You just don't want to hide it from me. How can I not know? Baya didn't even want to think about the past. Fine, I'll give you this chance to ask Gu Lingqing in person. Su Jiran drove. Baya was on guard. Su Jiran, what do you mean? Today is my grandfather's birthday. I'll bring you to have a meal. Of course, if you don't want to go, I can let you watch the show from the surveillance room. You don't believe me, right? Since you don't believe me, I'll let you see it with your own eyes, Su Jiran said with certainty. Baya frowned and didn't say anything. She decided to believe that Gu Lingqing didn't lie to her. But if she could see it with her own eyes, it would prove that her belief was not wrong. She believed that Gu Lingqing could give them a slap in the face. It would save her the trouble of people gossiping about Gu Lingqing and Su Shaoling every few days. Although she didn't believe it, it didn't mean that she didn't care. She didn't like to listen to those rumors. It made her heart feel uncomfortable. Su Jiran didn't bring Baya to the banquet hall. Instead, he brought Baya to the surveillance room. Su Jiran's grandfather was the retired deputy director of the Commission for Discipline Inspection. Although he wasn't in the position, he was quite famous. There were many politicians and entrepreneurs who came. Even so, Baya still saw Gu Lingqing, who stood out in the crowd. He was dressed in a black suit with a distinctive totem pinned on it. The golden wheat tassel served as a foil to his valiant and tall stature. Apart from him, Su Shaoling was also there. She was wearing a strapless fishtail dress. She held his arm and stood beside him. A talented man and a beautiful woman. They were a perfect match. Baya furrowed her brows. Today, my grandfather will announce their marriage to everyone. Do you want to ask Gu Lingqing in advance? Su Jiran suggested. He raised the corner of his mouth, which was a bit evil and charming. Baya admitted that she couldn't stay calm when she saw Su Shaoling and Gu Lingqing standing so intimately together. There were a million reasons in her mind to convince herself that they were just ordinary acquaintances. However, ordinary acquaintances didn't need to hold hands. Baya took out her phone from her bag, locked the screen, and called Gu Lingqing. She saw Gu Lingqing take out his phone and take a look. Gu Lingqing didn't answer. Instead, he muted his phone and put it back into his pocket. His behavior had already shown that he didn't want to answer her call now. Baya's heart sank. It was as if a huge rock was pressing down on her. She felt suffocated, and her mind went blank. She put down her phone and stared at Gu Lingqing on the screen. Su Jiran sat on the table in front of her. Baya, I'm thinking, if I played along with him back then and never let you know that I had a woman outside, would you still love me? Baya turned her eyes and looked at him. I want to go to the banquet hall. Su Jiran laughed. You have to think carefully. If you go in and make a scene, not only will Gu Lingqing feel embarrassed, but my grandfather will also feel embarrassed. Men hate it when women embarrass them. Baya looked at him indifferently. Do you think I will make a scene? That's true. You're so cold that it drives people crazy. If you had shown a little bit of care for me back then, I might have turned back a long time ago. Su Jiran stared at her and his eyes darkened. Baya smirked and said sarcastically, never expect a scumbag to turn back. In fact, the rate of scumbags turning back is the same as the rate of me turning back. I already have so many people turning back for me. Why would I care about a scumbag turning back? I wish you the best of luck on the path of not turning back. Don't be too firm with your words. Do things in an extreme way. Only by giving people a chance to turn back can you have a path to walk on. Baya, your EQ is very low, Su Jiran said meaningfully. Baya looked at Su Jiran. Her gaze was a little unfocused. She didn't know what EQ was. When she was in love, there was only one person in her heart and she gave it her all. When she wasn't in love, she wouldn't drag things out. Just like right now, her heart was in pain. She wanted to ask Gu Lingqing face to face. If he really lied to her, no matter how painful it was, she would chase him away from her heart. You're tuning in to the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.